That's a shame. Well, it's hard now because you're getting older, isn't it? Gameplay gets worse. Penis gets softer. It's harder to maintain.
Thanks.
Dad. This is the tough love you always needed.
Thanks, Kratos.
Boy. Welcome to the Midlife Gamer Podcast. Today is Saturday the 5th of May 2018 and my name is Darren Baldock and I'm I'm chuffed to bits to be able to say I've got not only Matthew sat right next to me with his hand 6mm away from my glands. We've also been joined by Derek and Steve. And we're going to find out a load more about you guys. I know there's a load of listeners out there that know you already through one channel or another. But this is the Home Invasion Part 2.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk all about that. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick back, relax, and enjoy episode 280 of the Midlife Gamer Podcast. So then, Home Invasion, gentlemen. Before we get stuck too much into that. Just introduce yourselves. So we've got voices for the listeners to associate with.
Hi, Steve-O. You probably heard me from the Year of Shame last year. Yeah, when I dragged everyone into it. Anything else you want me to say? No, just who I am.
Right now, good
I'm
plug of last year's
used
show.
to
Well
this
done,
yet.
well done.
Yeah.
And I'm Derek. Everyone knows me as Digital Pariah. You've probably heard me from last year's Year of Shame as well. And every other show I can pimp my ass on.
Yeah, you are a bit of a podcast whore, aren't you?
I am a bit, yes. So.
Well, this is the crest now.
Yeah, I've reached the pinnacle.
That's it. You can quit while you're ahead.
That's it. I can die happy. Yeah.
So Home Invasion. There may be some listeners out there that have got no idea how and why this comes about. So when we do the MLGX down at Eurogamer the back end of September every year, we have various activities which we've spoken about, to a good length on previous shows. But in addition, there's the auction, which is always great. It's one of the highlights of the evening for me, and it gives me an opportunity to showboat a little bit, and I really do enjoy that. And we auction off some really good stuff. And on two occasions, we've effectively auctioned myself and Matt to travel to whoever is the successful bidder and pitch up in your house. If you're lucky, Matt will destroy your toilet. John Hare fell foul of it a number of years ago, so he's hoping. But you guys won it last year. Do you want to talk a little bit about what happened?
Don't look at me.
Because
it was my fault.
Because I've got a feeling there may be a little story
There is a story
behind
this, yes.
There was the auction. I was a little bit drunk, as I have been for the last few years. And this came up, and I immediately thought, I've got to make Derek spend some money. So I went screaming outside, dragged him in, and took no little persuasion, and we bid up.
I will tell you the bit that I remember is there was a couple of people bidding for it, and the two of you were stood next to like a couple of bloody teenagers. You were desperate to win this, and it was like going once, going twice. Sold to these two gentlemen over here. I looked over, but I don't know which one it was. It was like, gonna get you north of the wall, more. You're coming up.
Yeah, so here we are in where the bloody hell are we? North of the wall. We're in Scotland. We're on the west coast. Mm-hmm. I should know the place where we're at because Prestwick. That's it. We're in Prestwick, which is probably an hour away from Glasgow.
Yes.
And the first thing I've got to say is I've been to Scotland a few times before. This is a beautiful part of the world. And I'm not just saying this because you guys are here and you're holding a gun to my head. I could quite easily settle down here. It really is a beautiful part. I mean, we went out and we had some beers last night, and we were sat in a beer garden facing the sea. and it was 9:30 at night, and it was still light. And I know British summertime, but it always feels like up here it stays lighter for longer. Yeah. You know, and that's not a bad thing. And I guess that's geography for you.
Are we closer to the sun from up north?
Yes, Matthew. Of course we are.
Wicked.
Yes. So no, it's been good. I guess we should probably devote just a little bit of time to, I guess, some of the things that we've got up to over the weekend, because not only have you bid this incredible amount of money. We're not going to embarrass you by saying how much was bid, but let's just say it was an incredible amount. You've scheduled a weekend of activities for us, and we're at the back end now. We're at the tail end because Matt's scooting back down south tomorrow. You're stuck with me for another day, unfortunately. But you've took us through. I think you've tried to give us the Scotland experience through the eyes in which you think we would like to see them.
Yeah, I tried to get you in for bagpipe lessons, but I didn't think it would really take. So yeah, we took it down a stage.
Is that actually a thing you can do?
That's probably yeah. You can definitely get bagpipe lessons. I just didn't think that.
Yes, Matthew, you can learn to play a musical instrument.
Exactly. Yes.
If you're so inclined.
No, you're born with bagpipes in your mouth in Scotland.
But we thought we'd tame it down a notch. So it was a slightly more muted affair than we could have gone for. Could have went balls to the wall, but we thought ease you in gently, you know.
Yes, I mean you settled us in nicely yesterday. We just had a few beers. We had a walk into town, and
I played a card game.
You did. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
You did rather well for a moment.
What we've been playing section. Come on, you know the score. And then we went for a curry, didn't we? We went for a curry. When you're in Scotland, of course, you go for a curry. It's the local cuisine. Not really. But I'll tell you what we did have. We got to sample haggis in the form of haggis pakora, which, as many probably know, it is basically an Indian chicken nugget.
Yep.
So you, Matthew, what was your view on the haggis?
So I've never had a haggis before. I've never been to Scotland before, so they're both new experience for me, and they're both pleasant. It's akin to a faggot, I guess. It felt like sort of cheap meat bung together.
God, keep upsetting the Scots.
No, it was all right. It was slightly better than chicken heart.
Oh, which we had today. We'll come back to that. We're jumping ahead.
Do you know what's in a haggis?
Isn't it like the stuff that is not even good enough to go in hot dog sausages?
It's not really. It's awful.
Yeah, it's the lungs,
heart,
the intestines.
lung, kidney, intestines.
All wrapped up in the stomach lining.
Yeah, it's normally, the outer casing is actually the stomach lining.
I didn't like it. I've got to say. I was trying to be as diplomatic as possible. I think at the time I said, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm. It's an acquired taste, isn't it?
I didn't like it.
Very much so.
And as I was swilling it around in my mouth, I thought, I hope I don't throw up. I can't spit it out because that's just really, really rude. You know, I can imagine when you go into a foreign country and they're putting their national delicacy in front of you. And
it's not. Is it a national delicacy or is it? I mean, I don't want to say gimmick. I don't want to.
No, it's definitely a national delicacy. Yeah, it's every year it's eaten on Rabbit Burns night.
Yeah,
it's typically a staple diet to people. Yeah, across the country. So yeah, people eat that all the time. I probably have haggis on maybe once every month, once every 2 months, thereabouts.
Does it say something about the Scottish way of taking an animal? I'll have all the nice bits that everybody else has, but there's going to be we can find a way of making even the last bit somehow palatable.
It's no different than the people that invented black pudding. And basically saying, well, let's slaughter this pig, let's cut it up, let's get everything aside from it. Oh, look at all that blood that's sitting there. Let's mix it with some oats and some wheat and stick it all round and wrap it up and let it cool, and there you go, black pudding.
I've got no axe to grind with black pudding.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all right. I know some people eat it raw. I can't do that, unfortunately.
No.
But you know, fried on a part of your full English.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Yeah,
That's the way to go
good
for
stuff.
it. Yeah.
Good stuff. So fast forward to today, and the first thing you did was you took us to a distillery.
Yes.
And we learnt all about the distilling and production of Scotch whisky.
Single malt specifically.
Single malt specifically. Oh, we won't go into too much detail, but suffice to say, that was a very educational tour, and I learnt a lot. I learnt a lot about the different types of whiskies. Because I mean, you think about it, just a Brit will just walk into a pub and they'll go, "Oh, I'll have a Scotch." And they pull the bells down from the thing, and Bells is probably like the worst Scotch in the world. Yeah,
it's not nice.
Yeah, no. And sort of stuff we were looking at today, because there's a gift shop or a shop on within the distillery, and you can buy all these different types and varieties of Scotch. And I was having a look around. I thought I'm going to try and find the most expensive one, £2,600.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, for a 40-year-old. Single malt. I've got the photo somewhere, but it was that's a lot of money to spend on a bottle of Scotch.
It is, but I've heard a story, and I'm trying to remember the exact details here. I think it was in Dubai, or it was one of the Middle Eastern countries, and some Japanese or Chinese tourist paid, what was it, £7,000?
It was about £7,000 just for a shot.
For a single shot of whiskey. Supposedly from this ultra rare bottle.
Was it a 50-year-old or something?
It was a 50-year-old recovered bottle of 20-year-old Scotch.
They'd only found 20 bottles of this.
Yeah, so ultra rare. Turns out it was a fake.
Yeah.
So it was just cheap, nasty knockoff whiskey you'd been drinking. But yeah, it's ridiculous some of the prices it can go on.
Well, we got to taste. We finished the tour off with a tasting session, and it was really interesting to learn how to actually drink a shot of Scotch, and how to smell it, how to waft it around, swirl it in the glass to see. Well, I can't remember what the. Hang on, I've got the bit of paper here. Because they used all the fancy wording, didn't they? So yes. I think we were establishing the colour, the viscosity, the nose. Yes. What's a nose? Oh yes, I'm getting. Oh yeah, it says here sweaty. Yeah, a fainty malt would smell of plastic, sweaty, tobacco, leather, and honey.
Oh, sounds like my bedroom after a hell of a weekend.
Doesn't it just? We were so we learned that you don't sniff a Scotch through your nose. You you open your airways and you breathe in through your mouth, and that sort of naturally pulls the flavour through. Yeah. It was truly educational, and I feel more inclined now that when I'm in a bar and I'm looking up at the spirits, because you reach that point in the evening. Although to be fair, when I reach that point in the evening, it's more about the Jaeger bombs and what have you. But if you went to somewhere nice, and I'm thinking of somewhere like the Athenaeum down in London, where they've got the world's largest collection of Scotches in one bar. There's something like 300 different types. Although to be fair, the distillery weren't too far away, but they were only selling it by the bottle. Yeah. But yeah, I think be more inclined to be a little more. You could show off to the ladies, couldn't you? You like that, don't you, Matthew? You like showing off to the ladies.
It seems to be an apprehension about drinking whiskey neat, because people seem to find that
they think
it's unpalatable.
And it's pretentious as well.
Yeah, pretentious, or it's hard to palate. And you guys now know from the taste test where they did with 3 different types of whiskey. Each of them had a different taste to them and a different aftertaste to them. And it's all about how you drink it rather than just.
But it was as the guy said, it's you find the whiskey that you like and the way you like to drink it, and that's it. You don't let people bully you and say, "No, you can't have an ice cube in it. You can't put water in it. You can't have this. You can't have that."
If I want to just mix my notes and Diet Coke,
that's what he said. That's what he said, didn't he? You want to stick Coke in it? You go for it, fella.
You paddle your own canoe, mate.
That's right.
Do what you want to do. So no, it was good. I really, really enjoyed that today. and we had a good mooch around the town centre. I'd say Glasgow town centre, to me, as a visitor, that is a vibrant, buzzing. There just seems to be an awful lot going on.
Super friendly.
Well, yes.
Very friendly people.
Yes.
I mean, completely joking aside, I don't know, I'm a little bit paranoid all the time that I'm forever going to get picked on and beaten up. Or stabbed. But you know what, Glasgow has had a reputation in the past, and maybe it's just from popular culture.
You just think there's a beg behind him round every corner that's going to come out and give you a Glasgow kiss.
Well, I guess that probably didn't help my trepidation, but that assumption of mine was completely blown out of the water. Everybody was super friendly, super kind. The food we had, the architecture was stunning. The views, Christ Almighty, we're taking that train up to Glasgow proper. It was stunning. I could move here. I won't. I could. I know, I might.
All right, okay, calm down.
I might retire up here one day.
Yeah, it's a good retirement area.
Yeah,
I think, especially if you like golf, because there's some really nice golf courses, a lot of nice courses around here. But and then we've kind of wrapped the late afternoon up with a bite to eat, and you took us to a restaurant where we ate all of the meat, all of it.
Literally, yes, all the meat.
So explain for the benefit of the listeners how this restaurant works, because I've never experienced anything like this before.
So the restaurant is actually part of a chain called Viva Brazil. And it's all South American styled meats. And you have a list of 16 different cuts of meat or styles of meat, excluding pineapple, of course, which is the dessert. That's your finale. But you have effectively 15 different cuts of meat, and you can have as much or as little of those as you like. So to indicate to the churrascos?
I don't know why he just came around with a big skewer of meat.
The guys with the skewers of meat are just wandering around the restaurant.
Massive knives.
Yeah.
They basically will come to your table if you have a tablet. They've got a little card that's either green or red on either side. If you have a green sitting on your table, they will come over with whatever meat they have on their skewer. Give me meat. If you're red, you're like, I need a break. Please don't come near with any more food. I may throw up. And we had it green most of the time. I think we had one cigarette break about...
That was the only time, wasn't it? Yeah.
About 2/4, about 3/4 of the way through. And then we purred through the last 5 or 6.
And we're there for a good 2 hours, weren't we? Just taking down different... It was good, but I can feel it coming now.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in, food-wise. So it's an interesting concept, and it's a set price. You eat as much or as little as you like. As you know, some of us ate very little, mainly the women that were with us, and some of us ate a lot. Steve?
Oh, it's great. I love my mate. I have to say, it was bloody awesome. We discovered that Matt doesn't like chicken hearts, and he likes warm pineapple now.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yes, stick it on your pizza.
No, I can't have it on a pizza, but just warm pineapple like that. It was brilliant. Palate cleanser, that's absolutely going to be a staple in my barbecues in the future. Yeah. But no, not on a pizza. You're kidding me. I'll tell you what, also, it's been a very active weekend.
For sure.
We've done a hell of a lot of walking.
For sure.
I'm at currently almost 21,000 steps.
For the day?
For the day.
Wow.
I know.
That's good work, fella. You Strava wanker.
I'm kind of glad it's a nice long weekend, so I have a day. Well, we discussed this, weren't we? Now if I've done twice as many steps as my so-called target, it means I can do fuck all on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant. Paying it forward. Future me will thank me when I'm sat on my arse playing God of War.
Well, I guess that segues nicely into I guess what we're all here for, what your listeners are out there are primarily here for, and that's for the gaming chat. So I guess before we get stuck into what we've been playing recently, gentlemen, I'd like to know, and I'm sure the listeners would like to know. I want to know a couple of things. And I think we'll begin with, where did it all begin? Where did video gaming begin for you? And we'll go to Derek first.
Okay. So for me, it is going back to the late 80s. My grandfather had just purchased a Grandstand 2000.
Oh.
And after school, my sister and I would go to my grandparents until our parents came home from work. And we devoured every game on that Grandstand 2000. So that was my induction into video games. So it was like 15 variations of Pong.
Of course, yes.
Of course. But after that, I pestered my parents for probably a year and a half. And they succumbed and purchased me my first computer, which was the C16 plus 4.
Oh, yes.
So that's an old bad boy. Although the name implies it probably came out before the C64, it actually came out around at the same time. It was just a lesser model, really. So that was my go-to to start with. So nothing better than sticking in that good old tape, press and play, press and pause, typing run, releasing the pause button, then going away for 3 hours and waiting for the damn thing to load. So yeah, that's my. That's where it all started for me. Was the Commodore 16? Yeah, good old Commodores.
Bloody Commodores! No, not for me. I just remember when I have this vivid recollection when I was about 4 years old of my dad turning up with the Atari 2600, the Woody,
Yes.
Space Invaders, Combat, Outlaw, and that's where it all started. And every summer would go down to Skegness, arcades in there, playing Star Wars, the Vector Graphics one, and then I moved on to the old Spectrum 48 and 128, and yeah, Jetpack and Chaos were my things on that. Chaos was great. What's his name? No, I can't remember who did it. But yeah, I went from there onto the Mega Drive. And now here I am.
That's where he fell off the bike.
Oh, fuck I'll have to say you're actually numbered 3-1 on that case, because I was a Mega Drive boy.
Come on, I'll fight the lot of you. Come on.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a habit ever since. It's a nice, relaxing place. I love my video games, especially JRPGs. So, as I've told you numerous times over the weekend, you could brand a shitty stick with Final Fantasy and I'd be buying that thing.
This is absolutely true, ladies and gentlemen. We dove into a board game shop today, didn't we, in the centre of Glasgow?
Yeah.
And amazingly, I was the only one that didn't spend any money.
Yeah.
So it was, their Final Fantasy purchases have happened. That's all I'm going to say. But no, good. So okay, so from a Mega Drive Super Nintendo perspective, I'm outnumbered 3-1. Where do we all stand? I know where you stand, Matthew. Where do we all stand on the Amiga versus Atari ST?
Oh, I'm with you all the way. Amiga 500, 500 plus, 600, 1200. So I'm an Amiga boy all the way through. Give me your sound processing shit. I want decent games and graphics.
They're the same fucking games!
But they looked better.
See, you new kids here, console wars. Yeah, you ain't got shit on us. We fought the first world console wars. What about you, Steve? Were you an active gamer around that time?
I was, but I never had either of them. I went straight from my Speccy 128 up to a Mega Drive. I bypassed the whole Amiga kind of thing. So yeah, I have no say whatsoever on that argument. It passed me by. He's like
Sweden during that era. Yeah. Just staying out of it. We'll just make the chocolate and the watches. And
the only good thing that came out of that was things like Speedball 2 and Chaos Engine. Yeah. But they made it onto the Mega Drive, so I'm happy.
Yeah, cool stuff. And as far as say discovering, subjugating yourself, or subjecting yourself, should I say, subjecting yourself to midlife gamer. How did both of you find us?
For me, it was back in 2009. I started the job I'm currently in. I remember I was on a training course, on my lunch break, reading a book, looking through BBC News website, and there was a thing about Beneath the Steel Sky being remastered onto Android and iOS. And I went and had a look on it, and under the review for Beneath the Steel Sky, there was somebody mentioned that they only came across it because it had been mentioned on the Midlife Gamer podcast. And from there I went, fuck it, I'll see what this is like, and I've been there ever since. Yeah.
Wow. Bloody hell. I know, it's been a rough journey, hasn't it?
It's not been. It's had its moments. I'm not, we won't mention the belt incident.
Oh, God. Don't mention the belt.
Don't mention the belt.
Don't mention the belt.
Not in the Michael Hutchins belt.
No.
Not mentioning.
No. Although I wouldn't want to hang that over a door.
It'd be sturdy knob.
It's a sturdy belt. It is so good.
Good American workmanship, that is. Handcrafted.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. But yeah, I've been there ever since, sitting on the periphery, and yeah.
Good stuff, and I mean, this applies to both of you. We're very proud to count you as one of the many friends that we've managed to encounter over the years, and you're part of our lives now, and even more so over this weekend. I don't know if you feel better for it or not, but you probably know a lot more about Matthew and I than you've ever done before. Let's just draw the line under that conversation right now. What about
not
you?
enough mind bleach for that.
What about you, Derek? What about you? How did you come about us?
To be honest, I was introduced to yourselves on the forums via Cy Stevens. So Cy Stevens introduced me to it, saying, like, this is a cool place, a lot of people that are talking about the games we were into at the time. So I kind of just, that's the same as yourself. I sat in the periphery for a while. Yeah. I would join in the odd conversation. And then I think it was 2012. The editor at the time, Greg Giddens, put out a call to arms, basically saying, anybody want to write a review of the games you're playing just now, send them in, and we'll maybe publish something. So I thought, I can do that. So I sent in my first review, which was Never Dead. And that was
the one where you roll about collecting your limbs?
That's the one, yeah.
What did you give it?
I think I gave it a 3 or a 4. Yeah, it was. I basically at the end. I ended it saying "Never Dead." Really, it should never have been conceived.
Was it strapped
it was a bit harsh.
Greg was like, "That's the guy I want."
Yeah. So, funnily enough, I became staff writer from that point forward.
Probably the original hot take. Isn't it? Derek's final summary of that review.
Although I did work under several editors that hated me because I typically got the bigger games, the RPGs and things like that. So they would have to whittle my reviews down to a readable amount. So 5.5 pages of review, 5,000 words. They
favoured the long form, did you do?
Oh, very much so, yes. But yeah, no, I did that for, 6 years up until this year. Where I obviously life and everything else got in the way, unfortunately, and I've had to step back from that role for the moment.
Yeah, we just count ourselves lucky to have had you under our wing, under our umbrella, part of our employ. Mm-hmm. You never took the piss out of the private medical or the dental plan.
No. I just took it on the chin.
Always scored strongly in the annual review. We're a corporate machine here at Midlife Gamer. There you go. I think thank you for giving us and listeners a little bit of background and insight. So we should probably talk a little bit about video games.
Well, can I kick things up?
Or do you want to have a little bit of what we've been doing? Do you want to wrap up anything? Do you want to cover off anything else that's happened? Because it's been a while.
Okay, we'll tell you what. First of all, can we just thank all the listeners out there for sort of bearing with us? I know that it's been a while since you've had one of these coming down, and once again, it's real life. It's kicking both mine and Darren's ass at the moment, and that's no excuse. But just generally, just thank you for bearing with us. I know that people do reach out to us from time to time and say, "You guys doing a show?" And everyone seems incredibly responsive when we say, "Do you know what I mean? Just give us."
Yeah.
just give us a moment, and we're both hoping to get back onto a bit more of a regular gig.
Yeah, I mean, and we both got our own individual reasons for not recording, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on this show because this is a home invasion, and we're not going to sort of stomp into your house and just take a shit all over the mic and ruin the tone. But yeah, we're working through it, and we're trying. And just to echo what Matt's just said, please stick with us. Please bear with us. We will get you content as and when we can. But this is fun.
Ooh,
this is fun.
Also, interestingly enough, you very well could be listening to this on YouTube. Apparently,
really, because science.
Because I clicked a button.
Yeah, you learned how to click a button.
I had to change a password.
Oh, is there a one on the end or an extra one?
There might be an underscore as well.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Matt! And you haven't told me. So you've hijacked the YouTube channel. Well, all I hope is there's some good stuff going up on there now. Now you're helming it.
Without doubt.
Okay, good stuff. Right, any other random stuff that you need to talk about? I'm trying my level best to power through the Marvel films because I'd really like to see Infinity War. There's some really good stuff. I think I'm up as far as Winter Soldier.
Oh yes, that's a good one.
So the problem is I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon Prime. So I'm flitting between all of the available sources that I've got to me, and there's a couple of gaps.
Yeah.
Well, just so happens I've got a Now TV Movie Pass, which I'd never redeemed, and it's like a 30-day one. So I thought I could just nail all of these films if I activate the Now TV. Plus the fact I'm getting Westworld season 2's out now, so I bought a 2-month subscription off eBay for Now TV Entertainment for a $5. A $5 for Westworld season 2. Oh, I can't grumble with that. So yeah, so movie wise, working through the Marvel universe. I went to the cinema, took the good lady.
Did you do the popcorn trick?
No. Remember, I think on the last show, I threaten to take her to see Ready Player One. Well, I succeeded, and she's really good like that. She'll allow those things to happen. Although I must say, when we were sat watching the trailers and the trailer for Infinity War came up, and I was like there going, oh, my mouth was wide open, and I started to turn towards her before I even engaged with her. She said, no. And bless her, she'll take so much, but I think she drew the line at Infinity War. It was a little, I think it was a little bit too out there for her. But we went to see Ready Player One, and I'm not going to talk about it too much. All I will say is, as somebody who enjoyed the audiobook very, very much, thought it was a fantastic story, I was left feeling somewhat mixed and a bit conflicted about the film version. Had I not read the audiobook, potentially I would have enjoyed it more. But the changes they made, I can understand some of them, but not all of them. And the storytelling was not up to the standard I would expect. It was very much, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and it kept going on and on and on. That's no way to craft a 3-act story. Just, that's like a writing of an 11-year-old who's doing their weekend story time, and then this happened. But no, it was. I mean, the effects were awesome, a visual spectacular, and I'd like to see that on VR. We'll talk about VR in a moment because I've got eyes on. I've got eyes on with a little bit of VR, but I just wanted to get the. What else I've been up to out there, Matthew? Any interesting things that you want to relay?
I guess from a movie point, I'm now up to date with the Star Wars.
So all the Star Wars.
What's the latest one?
Taken down.
What's the latest one? I haven't watched it until it came out on the DVD.
Last Jedi.
It's the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I was watching it. Bless her, I was watching it with the wife, and she was trying. Bless her, she was trying, and she said, "You know what? I like it." And until the bits when they're in space having a little war, as well, very much clue is in the title of that. But bless it, and I know that a lot of the hardcore Warsians were anti that. I thought it was great. It was a romp.
Okay.
and it leaves me excited for the next one. Not overly asked about Solo, which I think is out, what, this month? Next month? Soon?
Yeah.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be more interested in an Obi-Wan film if because Ewan McGregor's kind of at that age, it's been that long since he's done the prequel trilogy that they could tell an Obi-Wan story and they wouldn't have to make him look older. This is just Ewan McGregor 20 years on. Obi-Wan's 20 years older than he was when he did Everybody a Golden and chopped old spoilers, chopped somebody in half. Assuming, I think we're beyond the statute of limitations for Star Wars, are we? Yeah,
I think we are.
Yeah, okay. So he basically made Darth Vader. Yeah.
Oh yes, that was what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, chopped Hayden Christensen in half.
Don't we all wish we could do that?
Yeah.
So he did that. Then he did. Was it Looper?
Hayden Christensen. No, not Ewan McGregor. Not Obi-Wan. Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, but whatever happened to him?
That's it. He did Looper, and that's it.
No, he did Jumper as well.
Oh, Jumper. That's the one. No,
Jumper
Looper
is one.
was.
Looper was Bruce Willis, was it not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same premise, wasn't it?
No.
Oh,
Jumper
I don't
is the
know.
one he can teleport.
Did they not do that in Looper?
No.
No.
This is why we're not a movie podcast. 'Cause
Yes,
obviously,
that's why we're a
all
gaming
of our
podcast.
knowledge is around video games and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
about them.
Any notable non-video game stuff that you want to share with us, guys, while you've got the opportunity?
Going through Rick and Morty for the nth time.
Excellent.
Oh,
I
watch
love
that.
I've just done that episode. There was that and the Total Recality one recently, and it's the one she loves that. That got her into Rick and Morty.
I need to sit with the wife and try and convince her to give it a go.
My missus was very kind of. She come in and see me watching it, and she's going, "What the fuck is this?" And
Say it's an animated version of EastEnders.
well,
That's it. Gets them every time.
and she saw the Total Recality one, and it was just like, I really like it. Mainly for Mr. Poopy Butthole at the end. She felt so sorry for him, and yeah, so I've got her hooked on that. Yeah,
Good stuff.
That's it.
Good stuff. Anything for you, Derek?
Infinity War, which I shall not speak any further about.
I'm going to see
I don't
that.
think any of you have seen it yet.
No, and what I remember you saying this last night when you realised you're the only one to watch it is that you were so envious that we have still got that experience to go
very much so. If I could wipe that memory out of my mind and go back and watch it again, fresh, yeah, it was. I bunked off work to go watch this. So I finished up work early so I could get out, so I could get to a showing. And I was literally sprinting down the street to get to the cinema. And I went to see it in, is it 4Max? So it's
Is that the one where the chairs move around?
That's the chappy.
Does it do smells as well?
Smells,
Spray
it
water
does
on your
sprays
face.
water on you, it does rumble, it does, all about the rumble. It does rumble, it does movement, it does all that sort of
So
stuff.
what smells did you get while watching that film? Try and keep it
Fear.
spoiler free. Spoiler free.
fear,
Can you smell the leather off?
I could smell
we know.
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
Did you breathe through them? Watch it again and breathe through the mouth. See if it smells like.
So, yeah, I obviously I can't discuss...
Less sardini, more anchovy now. Oh my God. Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, gentlemen. Are we ready to start talking about some video game stuff now?
Let's talk about some video games. Now I want to kick things off.
Okay.
Now, I've been wanting to tell you about this for ages, but I thought, as usual, I'll save that for the show. So I've got the PlayStation message app on my phone now, so I haven't got to rely on inputting on a QWERTY on-screen keyboard, and I can have a conversations in a decent rate. Now, this also sort of dates how long it's been since we did our last show. So I had a message coming on the 13th of March of this year. So, hello, Matt. Hope this message finds you well, and I hope you remember our one night of passion, as your co-host so delightfully put it. Yep, that's right. Through some weird, strange fate, I stumbled across your podcast. just like to say thanks for your kind words and not making me sound like a total dick. Wait for it. You are not dead to me. And if you ever wish to jump into some duos on Fortnite, just hit me up.
Oh, awesome. That's amazing.
The bromance remains.
And I'll tell you what, since then, Blazed and me have been blazing a trail on Fortnite for some time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
And I was chatting to him, because I seem to remember that one night of passion that we had. I'm sure I joked at the very end.
Sorry, I'm just undoing my belt. It's not anything to do with your story that you're telling. I just need to... It's all that meat. It's just starting to pop out everywhere. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm sure at the end of when we play, I'm sure I said, I'm sure it was a throwaway comment or something like, I do a podcast and I talk about this. It's been great. And I thought maybe he heard that and then just Googled my PlayStation ID and made it that way. But no, it was completely organically. He just was bored one day, started finding podcasts, found one, started listening to it, and he said, I'm sure I recognise that voice. And then he started talking, and I started talking about the story about him, and he ran to his wife, and he was like, fucking dude's talking about me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, Blaze fella, you're a gentleman of scholar, and we've been really enjoying a bit of Fortnite. And I've not won. I'm nowhere near ever winning a game of that. But what I love doing is watching high level play. I think I said it before. I always forget that you can build in that game. And when you see how people build incredibly quickly, like literally in a split second, they'll switch to the crafting thing and just go bang, 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 bang. They built 4 walls and stairs.
Yeah.
And we'll slowly start building up and up and up and up to get the perfect vantage point. It's bonkers to watch that happen.
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite's a strange one. I mean, I'd like to think that over the years, at some point, I've had my finger on the pulse of what the gaming hot jam is. And, you know, we've gone through it all. We've gone through the Minecrafts and the Daisies of this world. And, you know, of late, it's been more about, you know, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. And Fortnite is, it's a strange one for me. I've never felt more detached from a phenomena and being, you know, just being in there at the zeitgeist right at the beginning. I mean, from your guys' perspective, you know, what is the appeal of Fortnite?
Never played it. I have no idea what the appeal is.
Have we just got too old?
I think so. It's just not my bag.
Curmudgeonly.
Yeah.
Like going, Fortnite, not interested.
I think I got put off because while we're on the Year of Shame, it got released as they released the client. So I downloaded it thinking, oh yes, here's this free game I can play. But you had to actually pay to access it, and I just went, fuck it. I spat my dummy out at it, and I thought, I'm not entertaining this. So it's just passed. Yeah, not my bag.
Okay. Any view from Derek over there?
Funnily enough,
You play Fortnite, don't you? Oh,
in the last 2 weeks, I'm going to shout out here James Watley and Ollie Gosling. Well, Ollie particularly has been hounding us for about the last 3 months, at least 3 months, to jump on and join him in Fortnite. And we finally succumbed because we couldn't get Star Trek Bridge Crew to work properly. So we decided instead to jump on and do some Fortnite. And I fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. I played the single player last year because I had already pre-ordered it on the PC and I got a discount for redeeming against the console edition.
Sorry, you pre-ordered it on PC last year?
No, I already had it. It was released on PC.
I'm just wondering whether you broke the rules for last year. You didn't tell me.
Hold on.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
This was discussed on the Year of Shame show.
Oh, I may have been drunk on show then.
So he obviously needs to go back and listen to those shows again. But no, it was released on the PC far earlier than that. The beta was the year before.
Yes. And you got to remember when it started, it was a PvE thing. The battle
so I did the PvE thing, and I had to play with that. And the building element's a lot of fun. Can't do it as quick as some of these guys do it, which is just phenomenal. But I really quite enjoyed the idea. But it's more of a co-op game, so I did feel that I was kind of. I was playing it on my own. There wasn't a lot of people on my friends list that were playing it, and when they did start playing it, they were more interested in the PvP than the PvE. So it kind of fell to the back of my mind until about 2 weeks ago when I started playing it again. And funnily enough, I was playing it on Thursday night there, after having played it with Ollie, wondering why I kept bumping into like 2s and 3s when I'm jumping into play and solo. Yeah, I hadn't said it as solo, and so I was jumping in alone against squads.
I think there's because ordinarily if you were just set as a squad, you'd have been matched together with 3 other guys on your team. But I think they added
so
where you can deliberately choose to be on your own, but with against squads.
Just John J. Rambo.
Oh yeah, because I'm that fucking good.
Yeah, I did rank 6th on one of those matches, so I was quite happy with that. So yeah, I've definitely got back into it, and I think I'll be playing a bit more. See how I get along with it. It's definitely on my to-play list now.
Good stuff. We'll come back to you guys in a second on what you've been playing. Matthew, is there anything else that you want to talk about? James?
I guess 2 other quick ones before we'll discuss something. I know that Derek's been playing. One of the PlayStation Plus titles for last month was not Test Drive. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh, help me out now, people. Time trial racing, where you keep playing the same lap and the same lap and the same lap for 5 minutes along with everybody else to get the best. Trackmania. Trackmania Turbo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds about right. I know that Jay Stokes was like mad about this game.
Oh, yes.
It was a joke, wasn't it? I think maybe during his...
Yes.
But, and you know the concept of Trackmania, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's it was free, and it was the only reason I jumped onto it is because Fortnite servers were down for maintenance, and me and my best boy Blaze and one of his buddies jumped onto it. So although you're not racing, we were both in the same session, if you like, and you never really see each other. You sort of ghost cars. It was just sort of fun to just be shooting the breeze while trying to get the best, just to shave seconds off your potential lap time or point to point, start to end time over sort of a 6-minute period. And it was just it's a real. Obviously, it was free, which is good, but it's a hell of a. What's a good way of putting this now? It's not very often that I feel that I am really good at a game, but when I bang my head against a wall time and time and time again, and on that 20th or 30th attempt, I just managed to shave that split second off a lap time, which, although it's a split second, will push you way up a ranking because everyone's trying to do this thing at the same time. It made me feel really good. Really good. So I'm really glad I've got that in my library now going forward.
Okay.
And there's a lot of variety to that as well.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of trying to gold before moving on to the next race.
Oh, right. Is that a bad call?
I think it probably is because there's a lot of races on there.
Yeah.
But still on the racing tip, I treated myself to the remaster of Burnout Paradise.
Oh, I remember that game.
Yeah, and I've had a good old time with that. It's still, I think it shows its age. It's a 10-year-old game now. That is, Chief.
All right. Yeah.
And it shows its age with some of the infrastructural decisions they made while putting that package together.
Yeah.
But I still think holds up as just a fantastically fun driving game. And I've mostly been doing it on my own. I'm online, so all my scores for all of the Freak Road is being counted, and I'm listening to DJ Atomica, and I'm skipping through so I can hear Girlfriend again. I mean, the soundtrack's fucking brilliant.
Have they retained the original soundtrack, or have they had to re-license some of the songs?
Couldn't tell you. It's got Girlfriend, and it's got Paradise City, and it's got like...
It's all that matters to you.
It's got some real good sort of like 2000s, that sort of music.
Okay.
And I've not played it with anybody I know. I did jump into some of those sessions, because you remember there was like 50 challenges for 2 people playing together, and then for 3 people and 4 people, all the way up to 8 people.
Yeah.
I jumped into a random one. I'm like, I'm not going down to the Wildcats baseball stadium just to do fucking donuts with 700 randoms. But you can do if you want to. I think it was like 25 quid or something.
Yeah.
And I dropped it on a day one. I thought, I need that.
Yeah.
I need that in my life. And I've given it a couple of hours, and I'll go back to that, because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't surprise me if that's the title that hits PlayStation Plus in a year's time, maybe.
Yeah.
And at that point, everyone will jump back on it, and I think we could have a lot of fun with it. I think, and it's everything. It's because I only had the base game on the 360 10 years ago.
Has it got all like the DeLorean?
DeLorean's in there.
Yeah.
There's a whole new island, the big stunt stuff.
Yeah, you've got the bikes as well.
Bikes are in there, yeah. And it unlocks it all from the start as well, so it kind of breaks the progression a little bit. But then again, I don't want to hang around in the bullshit car for the first 2 hours. I want to dick around in. There's an equivalent of the Ghostbusters car as well.
Yeah.
2-1, yes. Which I suppose brings me onto the big jam, which is God of War.
Hey-o.
So, I mean, there's going to be no spoilers in this conversation whatsoever.
Okay, good to hear.
From a history point of view, I missed God of War 1 and 2. I never played any of the handheld versions of them, but I do remember playing God of War 3 when I finally got a PlayStation 3, and I enjoyed it. I knew what it was going to be. Fancy set pieces, interesting story, and lots of button mashing and quick time events. And for what it was all right. I liked it. And I was very aware on the lead up to the release of this that they'd almost done the Assassin's Creed thing of reinventing it, but instead of taking 2 years out to it, the guys had spent 4 or 5 years crafting something. And you'd see all the reviews coming out with masterpiece and game of the generation, which it does sometimes make you think, well, come on, is it going to be that good? Fucking hell, this game is incredible. I'm sorry, but it really is. It made me do this thing that happens a lot. It happened to me in The Witcher, where I found myself in a place where the combat was just too difficult. I just got myself into a position where I couldn't progress, and I had to drop it down to the easiest difficulty level, and I did that. And I was all right with that because I don't know, I'm getting old. I can't be great at everything. I'll just be great at what I can do, and even that's getting smaller. But as I get older. And I progressed, and I started getting better, and I started paying attention to the combat, because it has its own combat system that you're not necessarily used to having to think about when you're being Kratos. And as I started getting better, I thought, you know what, this isn't quite as challenging as it could be. I'm going to put it back up to normal, and I'm having more fun with it.
Yeah.
Even though I hit an encounter which I had to replay maybe 30 times. That 30th time when I took that enemy down, it made me feel so much better than it would have been if I'd have rinsed it on my second go on easy. Everything about that game is absolutely top draw. And from what I understand, I'm actually just scratching the surface of what it's got to give from a content point of view.
I think so. I mean, I've been fortunate enough. We're sat right here in Derek's kind of man den, and we've been exposed to 4K HDR goodness, PS Pro, VR. We'll come to that shortly. So you know, for me to have a short sample of God of War, I can see exactly where you're coming from with what you're saying. The combat just feels tight. The graphics are insanely good. It feels like there's good storytelling going on there. I mean, Derek, where are you with God of War?
I finished it. Yeah. So I've completed it now, and I'm at the stage where I'm mopping up some of the challenges that are left over, collectibles. There's some additional enemies, like tough enemies that you fight towards the end. There's a section that's got some random generated zones that you go in and fight, so you can repeat that as many times as you want. Fighting against, it's kind of the same enemies that are respawned, but in different waves. So there's still quite a bit to do even after you finish the main campaign itself. So I've mopped up most of it, but yeah, I can't put it down. I mean, I've fired it up in the hardest difficulty just for the sheer sake of saying, can it be done?
Yeah, and as a way of showing me 4K and HDR on a PlayStation 4 Pro was that title. I mean, straight away I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, that is the best looking axe I've ever seen in my fucking life. But did you ever struggle, Derek, with the combat in that, or did you?
Oh yeah, very very much so. I started it off in hard. Because I thought, played God of War before, I know this. And I made it through the first several encounters. You obviously know what I'm talking about. The guys here probably won't, but there's a very early, not so much a boss encounter, but an event that happens after a very short period that effectively starts the story off. And there's a massive fight that's involved there, which you can lose. Because someone actually did turn around to me and say, well, I was playing it on easy, and I got through it, no problem. And I was like, no, you can lose that fight. You can get your ass kicked quite easily.
Does that, by losing that fight, how does that impact? Does it change anything?
Kratos dies.
Oh, right, so it's basically you
reload checkpoint.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no deviating paths.
That's all right, I just wanted to double check that.
Yeah. But experiencing that on the hardest difficulty and being so inadequately prepared for that fight, the first thing I did was stick it in normal. And then I tried the fight again. I got through it relatively easy then. And like yourself, once I got a little bit more familiar with the combat system and got a few upgrades and a few improvements, I was like, yeah, I'll stick it back up to hard.
Hang on a minute. How big is your dick?
What? Regular?
Because here's me talking about how good I feel about dropping it down to easy than dropping it back up to normal. Derek's like, well, I was starting, I went down to normal, then back up to hard. No, but and I finished it on hard.
Pro level gamer, mate. That's what you get.
They're tough up here, aren't they?
They are. I was going to say, he's Scottish as well, even though fucking pansy easy. Stick it hard. Stick it hard.
And I'm right in thinking that where I am now, I'm not halfway yet.
You, if I remember correctly, you've just done
I am
the sequence from. But to explain for the benefit of the listeners, there's a section in the game that doesn't reveal a lot about the story, but it's very atmospheric, very impactful, and a great show of what the 4K and the HDR can be in God of War. So I'd snapshotted and made myself a spare save because I knew the guys were coming. And I thought I'll show it off to them and see what they think about the 4K and HDR and God of War, because I knew you had not played it. So we ran through that section, and I believe you're just beyond that section.
Literally at that's where I am.
And that is about a quarter of the way in.
Oh, that made me so happy. It made me so happy. I'm not had a chance to touch it all week, but god damn it.
Yeah, you've got a lot in front of you, and there's just a lot of story, a lot of depth, a lot of combat, a lot of exploration still ahead of you.
I mean, I only played God of War 3, and I wouldn't suggest that anyone needs to have any affinity with God of War, Kratos, any of the backstory. Yeah. Everything it's telling me, I didn't know. Honestly, as a self-contained, I mean, it's a reboot. There's no number to it. They could have got award for it. I mean, from what I understand, titles with a number at the end can potentially do better because of nature. It's part of a franchise, but again, they've just said, in the same way that they did with Tomb Raider, like, right, we're going to start this again.
Are there any nods to previous God of War games if you look out for them?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, although it is a reboot and not so much a rebranding, but it is a reboot, I think it's more about the fact that it's taking him out of the Greek mythology and slapped him into Norse mythology instead.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
So, because they've done that transplant, there is still nods to what he did in 1 through 3 and the portable games. So
I'm getting an assumption that maybe he is trying to live a more quiet life.
Yeah, that's it.
And all of a sudden,
he's made a baby.
Yeah, he's made a baby. He made a beautiful baby who turns out to be really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
He gets cooler, I must say. Yeah. By the end of it, he's the coolest kid. Yeah, it really is. It's like I think someone put up it's like Unsatisfied Dad Simulator 2018.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm soft as hell, and I've got my parents to thank for that. But I'm also a sweet guy. Yeah. I think, as much as I love my father, and he doesn't listen to this, so he won't chastise me because of it. But if my dad was maybe 2% Kratos, I may have a bit more of a backbone. He's tough love personified.
Yeah. I like that.
There's a very nice progression, not only of Kratos himself and the story, but of his son. He does progress towards the end as well. So
I think that must have been a bit of a shock as well, going into it expecting. I remember seeing on our Facebook group someone just had a shot of like what Kratos' face looked like at the very start compared to what it looks like now, and it just thematically just screams the differences of this ridiculously overpowered character to this now still ridiculously overpowered, but soulful. He's
a bit more human.
It's almost like for the first time ever, he's got something to lose.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
Can he wait? Eh?
Yeah.
Can he wait?
Looking forward. Is that your bank holiday Monday sorted? Yeah.
I'm out to do some chores when they get in first, but yeah.
Yeah, build up some man points, and then that's it. Bit of God of War for the day. So, Steve, let's get you in on the conversation. What's your hot jam at the moment?
At the moment, I pretty much been playing Persona 5 since the beginning of February. That's up until the beginning of the month, it was Persona 5, 30 odd hours a week.
Yeah.
And absolutely love that game. It's a crazy JRPG, and the missus just looked at me and she goes, "I didn't think this was your type of game." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "It's got all this kind of dating thing, and you going to see your friends and school kids." It's like,
yeah, but I'm shooting myself in the head.
Yeah. Well, no, the only time she ever saw me playing it was those bits. She never actually saw me doing the dungeons and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah, love it. So yeah, probably on my New Game Plus, working towards New Game Plus on that. It's just fucking awesome. I love it. I love my crazy JRPGs. But more recently, what broke the habit was I saw people getting into Battlefield 1 recently, and I think on the back of Derek and Dougie and a couple of others doing a Battlefield night, I thought I'd maybe do a community night. So we've started doing the old Battlefield 1 Fridays, haven't we?
Yeah.
Harking back to the old Undead Tuesdays, all that kind of thing.
Gears and
Bears. I was never a part of that, you see, so it's picking up, that.
Well, I've seen a bunch of guys on there, and it makes me think now again. When I see the gang together playing a game, that can be as much of a draw for me to go and buy that than a 5-star review can sometimes.
Yeah.
But I know that I've got to check myself, because I don't want to be that guy who jumps into the pie chat and goes, "Yeah, you got to win for another one. Cool, shall you come and join our squad? Brilliant!
You shit.
I'm going to start downloading it now. All right, Matt, we'll see you in 2 days' time then, because it's like 60 gig.
Yeah.
So if I am going to get into it, I need to make that conscious effort days before I plan to play the game.
Yeah. So this, I need to ask, this kind of this dedication you've got to Persona 5 at the moment.
Yes.
Have you always been like that with JRPGs? Or, I guess what I want to understand is, your year of shame experience, has that, and I guess this is for both of you, has it altered in any way the way you approach how you play a game? Is it like, well, I'm going to play that all the way through, I'm going to squeeze as much out of it as possible? It's
not altered the way I play a game, it's altered the way I buy games.
Okay.
I probably would have jumped on 3 or 4 titles since New Year. I would have bought God of War day one, probably a couple of other things that have come out day one. And since the New Year, since we've come off Year of Shame, it's just not playing through the backlog. I picked up several titles from last year, and this one just hooks me. It's hard to explain. I play a lot of Final Fantasy, and I always take on a lot of the story, and I go really balls deep, and then I try to do all the additional monsters, dungeons. I rinse them to fucking nobody's business, but there's something about Persona, it just hooks me, and I just love it. It's bonkers.
Would 5 be a place you could jump into if you got no?
Oh yes, this is the first Persona I've ever played.
Oh, that's encouraging.
And it's fantastic. And on the back of that, I've actually picked up Persona 4 for the Vita. So
like Golden.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll be going through that one when I get the opportunity. But I just love the music. It's got one of the most fantastic soundtracks ever. It's just jazz funk all the way, and it's brilliant.
It's no Nia soundtrack, my friend.
Oh, there's that as well. Oh. It's one of those. It's up there. It's up there.
Good.
I think for myself, it has changed the way I play games. Because used to be, I was like yourself, I would have to max out games, and now I'm not as fussed about it. So I'm quite happy to put down a game when I feel it's complete, rather than when the game tells me I have 100%ed it. So I've been... The one thing it has changed my buying process as well. Not to the same extent as Steve. It's pretty much, abstaining from everything at the moment. Yeah. But I tend to now clear out a portion of my pile, my backlog, before I'll reward myself with a new game. And I usually complete 4 before I buy one. And that's the rule I currently run to. So I still have my spreadsheet from last year.
I'm
maintaining for this year as well.
When you decide that you're finished with the game, do you class it?
Yep, class 5 done. It's gone.
And class 5 is that you're
I am satisfied. It's never going to be picked up again. Yeah. So 4 is you've finished the main story and there's still some stuff to mop up.
Class 5. This is bring back nightmares talking about classes. I don't want to hear this.
5
Steve, you're editing the show. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just wait, I've got a Trevor run coming. You wouldn't believe. Any other big hot jams from you guys?
Yes, I'm playing Sniper Elite 4 as well.
The ball shot simulator.
Shooting fascists in the bollocks never gets old.
I mean, how can you say no to a game that Trevor recommends? You can't. You can't.
Yeah. I think I did that one last year.
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah, I think we've all dabbled in the Sniper Elite. There's something, to Steve's point, there's something quite spectacular and never tiresome about shooting Nazis and seeing the bullets enter their bodies and what the bullet does to them, whether it's crack their spine or smash their skull or take off their bollocks. Because that's what it's all about. So what does 4 do that the first 3 didn't?
I don't know. This is the first time I've played Sniper Elite as well. I picked it up on the back of Trevor from last year. He was waxing lyrical about Sniper Elite 3, and when we got to January and it was like £25 for the gold edition with everything, it's just like, that's an insta-buy.
Sure.
And I've not played it for a while until recently, but we had a couple of nights doing multiplayer.
I forgot that game had multiplayer.
It was awesome. But we jumped. It was me, Derek, Pete, and we managed to get Trev in as well.
4-player.
4-player. It's like the horde mode thing. And I think the best, we managed to take it down eventually, but the best moment was hearing Trevor getting his first ball shot. You just heard this, whoa! And,
How old is that guy?
It's still young at heart.
Yeah, he is.
Oh dear.
What about you, Derek? What are your hot jams at the moment?
To be honest, it's been God of War predominantly. That's dominated the last 2 weeks, pretty much. Just non-stop.
Yeah.
Before that, I was playing the Surge, which is
the sort of a Dark
Souls-like sort of game, but it's more high tech, that sort of mechy thing. Yeah. So Dougie and Phil were big proponents. They really sung its praises last year, and it's definitely one I would have picked up last year had I not been doing the challenge. So when it came round to January, I checked up, and lo and behold, it was in the sales for a tenner. So I was like, I'm not going to argue with that. £10 for the full game. Love it. Absolutely love it. I haven't finished it because unfortunately I didn't get to finish it before God of War arrived, and I was like, not going to let my hot jam go to waste. But I'll be diving back in to finish that off.
But the Surge?
The Surge, yeah. Really good game. Really good game.
Who made that, do you know?
It's the same guys that made Lords of the Fallen. I can't remember their name, but they made the other Dark Souls-esque game before, and they have actually improved on some of the bugs and problems that Lords of the Fallen had.
And I guess they put it somewhere that's not high fantasy.
Yeah. They've learned on lessons and progressed on what they've learned. So I'm looking forward, because there is actually a sequel been confirmed for the Surge. So yeah, I'm going to be quite happy to get through that and then set myself up nicely for picking up the next one.
Hey.
So I like supporting these smaller companies that are just coming out with not a new idea, but their own take on it. So yeah.
Good stuff. I'll talk about a game that I've probably mentioned it once or twice in the past, but it's been in beta. A lot of people don't realise this game has been in beta for so long, and it's finally come to its sort of its version 1 release. They've actually put a full digit at the front of the version control, and declaring it as a full release, and that is World of Tanks.
Oh, kiss my ass!
World of Tanks is now version 1. It's undergone a significant graphical upgrade. They've built a brand new engine. I mean, many people don't realise is that the graphics engine they were running that on is kind of over 10 years old, and the way Wargame have always built their games is, think about it, they were Russian company building a game for a Russian market, and the average Russian gamer runs their games on a potato laptop, yeah. So they always had to to set the graphic engine to the lowest common denominator. And that kind of bottlenecked them for many years, and they teased and talked about Havoc, etc. Probably like 2014, 2015. Nothing came of it. And then they've gone away, and quietly in the background they've been building this brand new engine from the ground up. And they released a video at the beginning of the year, sort of saying, "Oh, this is the future of World of Tanks," and it's fucking jaw dropping. It really was. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's probably still shit compared to some of the modern games. And you look at stuff like God of War, but as an apples to apples comparison, old engine versus new engine, this was something else. So nothing else has really changed about the game. Everything else is still there. It's just the graphics have been upgraded, and at no cost or loss to performance. And this is the important thing. So the Russian potato machines are still running this game, but it looks a hell of a lot better.
Is that optimization?
It's just the new engine.
Has the potato got a bit better over 10 years?
Well, no, I think the engine is it just looks a lot better, but it's still taking the same amount of processing power out of the potato that's running it. Yeah, but it's great. It's beautiful. A new nation has been added. We've just got an Italian tech tree, so all the spaghetti tanks are getting played at the moment. I'm having a whale of a time because I'm out seal clubbing with my tier 3 super tank destroyer, and then there's all these people running around in their stock Italian tier 3 lights and mediums, and I'm just there at the back, just boom, 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 just killing them, which is fine. I mean, I'll be honest, I've not had much chance to do a lot of things over the last few weeks. My activities have been focused elsewhere, and but World of Tanks, I felt I needed to talk about because it has gone through a significant change. I mean, I've been with this game since 2013. I could check my stats. I got a congratulations screen the other day that said, "Congratulations, you've fought 30,000 battles," or something like that.
Is there a question mark at the end of that?
No,
congratulations.
That was just a raise at the end, just to say I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 30,000. But it's a problem once you start installing the mods, and it starts looking at your win rate and your WN8 as they call it, and you get a little more focused on some of your stats, probably a little more than you should be. So sometimes I just want to try and enjoy this game for what it is, and just go out there and have some fun. But and that's what I continue to do.
Has that engine change affected the usage of all those add-ons?
No, not at all.
Are the add-ons, are they sanctioned by Wargame?
In fact, if anything, yeah, and this is a good point. So Wargame have actually set aside a specific mod page on their main website, which basically says if you can still go to your original source to get these mods, but they're also available here in case you weren't aware. And because they're on this page here, you are guaranteed that you are running mods that we don't frown upon, because there are some cheaty style mods out there, and Wargame apparently work very hard to try and stamp them out. But I don't care. I'm sat at the back of the seal clubbing. See what you want.
Will this explain your return to Twitch streaming it as well? Then I'm sure I saw you on recent weeks.
Yeah, I needed that stream was just something that I needed to do. I felt very sort of detached from, because we'd not recorded a show for a while. I kind of withdrawn from social media, and that was my way of reaching back out to the core audience to say, guys, I'm still here and I'm still doing stuff. Don't think we've gone away totally.
Look at my massive club.
Yeah. And so the only other thing I'll talk about from a video game perspective, it's not even a video game; it's an app. So this is an app for, universal across Android and iOS. And we mentioned 1 versus 100 yesterday with fond affection, and that was probably one of the strange highlights and one of the breakout successes for its short window of having like this interactive game show that was available to the masses, and it was like a live event that you kind of got involved in. And I've been recently hooked up to something that's very, very similar that's available on mobile, and this is called HQ Live. So you just download the app, you give them you sign in with your PayPal account. Okay.
Oh, hang on a minute.
No, that's fine. It's all legit. It's all legit. Yeah.
Is this the one where you can earn money?
Yes.
Yeah, you can win money. So basically, the core premise is, if you take it really simply, 12 questions are asked. Yeah, you just answer questions. They'll ask a question. There's a live presenter on the screen. They'll give you a little bullshit introduction to start off. Then they'll say, right, here's question 1. They'll ask the question. They'll give you a choice of 3 answers. If you select the correct answer, you're still in, and you keep going and going and going and going until question 12. If you get question 12 right, the money part is split between all the people that got question 12 right. Okay. The prize pot is it's £550. They run 2 shows a day, one at 3 p.m, one at 9 p.m. And if the pot isn't won, it rolls over. At the weekends, they have mega pots. And there's even one where they combine the British and the US, and you get like the big dollar. The big dollar's, I can't remember the amount now, but it's a serious amount of money that can be won. But there's a lot more people playing it. And they even had one the other week. It's probably some promotional tie-in. They had The Rock presenting it. Like the fucking Rock. And I guess what the questions were all about, Rampage. So it's clearly, we're here to talk about Rampage, but The Rock was there and he was vibing and he was riffing and he was clearly enjoying himself. He was probably getting paid a bit of money to do that as well.
And he would have been presenting that live as well?
Yes.
For the very nature of it being a legit quiz?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It was good fun.
Have you ever made it to the top 12?
No, I've got as far as question 6, and they always get me with some football question. For fucking hell. I always get fucked with the football question.
Do you have any sort of evidence of how many people tend to be in that top tier, hitting question 12 correctly and getting a share?
Yeah. So what happens is, I mean, the information is very open to you, so you can see exactly how many people are online.
Do you continue
playing.
to sit and watch the rest of the show?
If you choose to, you can continue to watch. Every time a question is answered, it tells you how many people answered each one, and then those people carry over. So it can be quite fun to watch, even if you're out of the game, because I saw one the other day where it went down to maybe 10 people, and I think about 3 or 4 of them got the final question right. So there was they earn £100 each, £100 plus each, just for answering 12 questions.
Would there be anything stopping you getting a team together and using a single device?
Well, I guess not. We could sit here with an iPad right now, but with that, you've only got 10 seconds to answer each question, which negates any Googling opportunity. I don't care how fast your internet is or how fast you can fucking type. That ain't going to happen. But as you know, if you remember back to the Blockbuster days, one person is sometimes better than 2. Because when you've got, the more people you've got, the more opportunity. You could have Derek being adamant, oh, it's absolutely that, and he's wrong. Yeah, and somebody else could have got it right. So doing it as a team is no point. Why don't you all just sit there with the same show open on your own phone? But it's good fun. It's good fun, and you've got an opportunity to win money.
So do you do this on a daily basis? Do you just dip in and out?
I've not played it for a while again, just because I've been sidelined with other things. But you can play it twice a day.
And how? So the people who pay money out, how are they making money from this? Adverts?
You're asking the questions that I asked Because firstly, right, why am I giving my PayPal details? Giving you PayPal details because that's how they pay you out. They pay you directly into your PayPal account. This is the brainchild of a company, and I can't remember the guys. The guys are behind something else that's been big in the past, and I think they make a point, or they do a business of taking something and building it up to be very big, and then they'll sell it. So I think what they're doing is, because they fund all the prize money, this LLC in the States, so they're the sole. I mean, clearly the whole Rampage thing, that would have been some sponsorship. So I think they're trying to build up a base of players, so at some point they can go out to people and say, or to companies and say, right, because you don't see any ads during this, but at some point I think there will be sponsorship and there'll be adverts running between each of the questions. But for the time being, it's ad-free, it's free to download, it's free to play, and you can win money. Right? There's nothing wrong or sinister about that as far as I can tell. Because I was apprehensive. I thought, hang on a minute, there's got to be a catch. There's got to be a catch somewhere. There isn't.
Yeah.
Go and have fun. Yeah, it's probably Cambridge Analytica are behind it all. This will come back and bite me on the arse. So the heavy caveat will be, buyer beware. Go download it, have some fun, try and win some money. If you lose all your data to a Russian oligarch, it's not my fault. Okay? Just put it out there. There you go. But we played some games here. And I've got to say, this was my first hands-on with PlayStation VR, and I think Derek, I think you picked the right game to hook me up with. Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about what I was exposed to?
So I know Darren is a big sci-fi buff. I know he likes his tricky. I know he likes his wars. So I fired up Star Trek Bridge Crew. Slapped him down in the captain's seat.
It's ice.
And it watched the hilarity unfold effectively. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Darren. It'd be ace if the voice controls would work with the AI staff. Yeah, that'd be ace. But like we're saying, if you've got an actual a group of 4 people all wanting to play it, when you're barking commands at the security person, that's an actual person.
Yeah.
So they can follow those commands. So all of your quite... you're doing an impression of a T-Rex.
So this is my good hand, child. This is my good hand.
Yeah. So this must have been very entertaining to you guys, but to me as the user it was frustrating, and that was because there was some difficulty I was having with the user interface, because you're holding the Move controllers and you're using, and as you're moving them around, you've got your hands, and I had lovely lady hands, and I noticed Derek, because I asked, and you can set your own character up, and you were you're an African American female Vulcan.
Yes.
And I looked down and I thought,
nice set of pins.
I've got a lovely set of pins, and look how slender my hands are. And then I thought, and I forgot about that. And I looked around the bridge, and there was a hot Vulcan in one of the seats. And then there was a guy that kept sort of fidgeting and scratching. So I had him about that. Well, I wasn't happy, but I was trying to tap up the engineer because she looked pretty hot, and I was down for some hot lesbo action. We were scissoring on 10 forward later if I had my way. I'm telling you now, but it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was so immersive to me, and it's a sci-fi nerd's wet dream. We've all sat there and I want to be in that captain's chair. I want to be making the decisions. I want to be directing this crew. And you have the opportunity to do it. And it was great. I absolutely loved it. And I even, you remember like the Kirk kind of swaggery, the way he used to just sit with his...
I saw you do that.
He sat on his chair and he'd lean over to one side, and I caught myself doing it. I was like, yeah, I'm there. I'm in the Kirk swagger sort of sitting position. But that game screams it needs voice control. And whether the PC version's got a mod that allows you, because I know there's some PC games that Elite Dangerous is a great example where that takes voice control to the next level. You can sit in Elite Dangerous and you can control most of the things on your ship just through your voice. And there's even mods, or there's official downloads where you can use. I don't know. Has Brent Spiner done a pack for Elite Dangerous?
I wouldn't put it
I'm
past
pretty sure there's
I don't know whether,
data.
I don't know what else Homeboy's doing these days.
Yeah, so I think there's a Brent Spiner voice pack. That's going to be awesome because he's talking to you, he's responding to what you're saying. But all I wanted to do was I wanted to point at the screen, I wanted to say engage, and for us to go like firing off into oblivion. Boy, oh boy, there's nothing that has made me want to get involved in the whole VR thing like that game has. That's a lot of fun. Now, I have a question. Have I dreamt this, or has a non VR version been made available?
No, it's PSVR only.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I thought
when you boot it up, it says, do you wish to play this in not VR or non-VR? So I'm pretty sure you can play Bridge Crew without having the VR.
Oh.
And what would they have, like a Destiny style, just...
I presume it would just be you on the screen and you'd move your controls around and you'd do the same actions. You would just be looking at TV.
I mean, I guess it would mean you could have people to play with you, but you'd miss out on that immersion turn into you and gesticulating to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's that sense of immersion which was just fantastic. But it would have. It was clearly very funny to you guys because I was like it was like bring your special needs cats into work day, and oh come on, let's sit him on the chair, and I'm trying desperately to press the button on the armrest on the console, but the move controller's not reaching, and I'm getting all frustrated, and I'm shouting at crew members and taking it out on them. Oblivious. What I should have done, I should have said, Derek, this isn't configured correctly. But I was so lost. I was so lost in the moment. I was there. I said, all I want to do is press this fucking button on my armrest.
Derek gave no shits. He was on the floor creasing himself over it.
And then I just give up on that, and then I'd turn to my hot engineer and go, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on, baby?" Oh, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was an awful lot of fun.
We also put you through some paces on the VR as well, didn't we?
Yeah, you put me on. Wipeout. Is it Wipeout Omega?
Wipeout VR. Yeah. So it says Wipeout Collection.
And did they just patch this in after regular release?
Yeah.
I mean that's great. That's a great Brucey anyway.
Steve-O and I are both of the same opinion that this is it's the clutch gaming of the VR. It is the pinnacle. It's what they should be advertising for VR gaming because it's got that same immersion factor, and then you've got the speed, the controls.
And it's Wipeout.
It's Wipeout.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't touched this Omega collection at all. In fact, I've not touched Wipeout in probably 10 plus years, maybe. And I only had a go because guess what? It's VR and it's fancy. Yeah. But but I think I said it as playing it. This is the only way you can ever play this game now.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing is, I'm sure I was telling you guys as well. There was a small HUD showing me my race position, probably showing what Covenant weapon I picked up, although I turned them up after a while. I daren't take my eyes off the next corner. I couldn't, and I was sweating, and it took me a while to get into it. But when I did, it just felt amazing. The sense of speed was there. It felt like I was going 600 kilometres an hour around some of those corners. And then when I remembered how to use air brakes, I thought, shit, I'm doing really fucking good at this. I swear I was getting an adrenaline rush more so than I would if I was in first place, sat 6 feet away from the telly with perfect view of the entire borders and being able to glance quite easily at my HUD. Being there, and that sense of I guess of danger and just immediacy was wild.
Yeah.
And I mean, since being here, I now have been convinced I need to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro, a 4K HDR TV, and a PlayStation VR. It costed me a fortune.
Costing me a lot of money.
But to have that, and then also potentially to sit and play Bridge Crew with you lot, would potentially make my year.
All right. Is there any other Hot Jams video games we want to talk about? If not, I'd like to take this opportunity to potentially break. We can refresh ourselves, go to toilets, make wee-wees and poo-poos, and we'll be right back after this very short bit of chiptune music. Stop. Okay. I think that is the embodiment of low-hanging fruit. I know we're in Scotland, and that's the cheap tune we went for. I don't think we need to hear all of it. What is the name of that tune, Derek? By the way,
I have no idea.
Oh, you see, there we go.
No idea.
There we go. It's the one everybody knows.
It's the theme tune.
Yes,
the Scotland
it's the Scottish theme tune.
It's like EastEnders.
But speaking of low-hanging fruit, we did the classic tourist thing today. Another legendary thing that's famous about Scotland, particularly Glasgow, is
the Justin Bieber dish.
No, not the Justin
Bieber
dish.
haggis. Yeah.
No, the deep fried Mars bar.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that it had to be done. It had to be done, but I've got to admit, after all that meat, that it's just sort of sitting in my body going, I don't know what to do with this. You've been eating so healthily the last week or so. And I wasn't really sure whether I was able to stomach it. But no, we went ahead and bless you, Matthew. You said, "Oh, come on, we'll both try a bit," and I'm sure there'll be video footage out and around by now, if not in the near future, of Matt and I sampling it. But oh man, that was really nice. I wasn't expecting it to be as nice as it was. It's like when you're around your mate's mum's house and she goes down on you and you think, no, this is going to be terrible. No, your mate's nan goes down and I think this is going to be terrible, and she goes at it like a porn star. You go, oh, actually, this is really fucking good. She took her teeth out and everything. You feel me? Am I right? There you go. I bet deep fried Mars bar's never been compared to that. Ever. But that was good. I good enjoyed that. On that note, shall we move on? We're going to have an interesting analog conversation today. Because normally I'm talking about games. Matt gets a flavour because I'll send him a video through. But the games we're going to talk about today are games that we've played together for the last sort of 24, 48 hours that we've shared. And I guess the first one was one that you brought to the table, Steve. So do you want to talk to us a little about Cthulhu Realms?
Well, Cthulhu Realms, it uses the exact same engine that Star Realms does. It's a deck builder.
Yep.
But it's more tailored towards more than 2 people playing it. So you can have up to 4 people playing it. And there's none of this factions thing. It's everything triggers off of your previous action. So if you discard a card, it'll trigger certain things. And what I like about it is that was the first time I've played it more than me and the missus. We play it 2-player, great fun. But 4-player, that was so much fun. When it's just like you're playing against 2 other people. You've got that. You can see cards coming out on the opposite side of the board, and I fucking want that card. That would be so nice in my deck right now. And how did you find it compared to Star Realms? It's a little trickier.
This is the interesting thing, because the 4 of us sat around this microphone. We've all got different experiences of the Realms series. So this is your game. Yeah. You more or less know it inside out. Granted, we still needed to check back on
some
rules.
It'd been a while.
Derek, you've got the app, because this is available as an app. So you're pretty familiar with it.
I'm aware of the rules, yeah.
And I've got a background of knowing Hero Realms and Star Realms, but I've never played Cthulhu Realms. So from my perspective, and of course Matt was the new guy. He was the noob. So I was when we were learning it, I was very wary that we didn't leave Matt behind. We wanted to bring him on the journey, make sure that he picked up the core concepts and how a deck building game works. Yeah. Because my first takeaway from Cthulhu Realms is that there's a few more layers to it than there is with Star Realms. Yeah, Star Realms is very simplistic in its approach. You know, you've got 4 factions, and factions are all different colours, and if you play cards that have got the same colours, there's normally an additional bonus that triggers. Where Cthulhu Realms, I thought, was going to be a struggle, and to a degree it still was, because we were still double checking even towards the end of the game. Oh, is this what we do? Is that it uses a lot of terminology and iconography that is unfamiliar. Yeah, and I guess that's just natural because it's the first time I played it. But I was always thinking, even knowing the way the Realms games works, is that okay? That triggers that and that and that and that. But there was a lot of icons and a lot of actions above and beyond the Star Realms game that I felt was great, but I could have done with a few more games to take it in.
It's one of those ones where it's because it's all based on visual clues on the cards and icons on the cards, and all your bonus things are not based on using fractional cards. Yeah. It's based on what actions you've already played. So you can get such and such a bonus if you've already discarded a card or KO'd a card, or if you've played a purple or whatever. But once you get your head around that, it allows you to build decks that you can really screw other people up on, because they're thinking you're looking. Unlike on Star Realms, they know you're going for the what's the bioorganic insect?
Blob.
The blob.
Yeah.
They see you buying all the blobs up. With Cthulhu Realms, because everything interacts with one another, nobody knows what you're doing.
And what I did like is that you are, unlike Hero Realms and Star Realms, where you've got a single trade row across the middle where everyone's got access to. With the 4-player game of Cthulhu Realms, the cards are laid out in kind of like a cross shape. And we kind of all sit at sort of like the in-between space between 2 of the arms of the cross. So the cards that we can interact with as far as purchasing and upgrading is concerned, you've only got access to those 6 cards. And then the person to your left has access to the cards to your left, but they've also got access to the cards, you know, round near the other person, which you've got no chance and hope in hell. So I also like the fact that I was sat opposite Matt, and I knew that with the cards I had in my hand, because when you deal damage, you're dealing damage to the person to your immediate left and the person to your immediate right. Person in front of you, they're not getting affected. Now, there's potentially cards late game, or certain things that will impact the person opposite you. But I was kind of like, Matt's doing all right, and I'm team Matt, because we're not hurting each other. But if one of us got knocked out, then things change, and then we start we start impacting each other. Matt, what was your view and experience? How did you feel it went?
I struggled a lot at the start. I don't know if deck building games are always as complex as this. Is this quite a complex game? Would you say, for a newbie?
I felt it was. I felt it was. If you said to me, Darren, give me a simple deck building game, I would say the DC Comics one, Star Realms, potentially Ascension.
Yeah, but from the core of what a deck builder is, I liked the concept of that. So early doors, I was focused on purchasing. So using the 5 cards I had in my hand, to use all of them for their most purchasing power, to And again, I wasn't too sure what. There was no skill. There was no planning or forethought. It was like, okay, well, if I can buy up to 6, if there's a 6 on there, I'll have it. If not, I'll have a 4 or a 2 and see how things go. But what I did enjoy, I suppose, was that after a few rounds of doing that, I then had to think, well, I can't just keep buying. I've got to start doing some damage to the guys to my left and my right. And I think I was just quite lucky in a few instances where the deck that I was slowly building, what I wasn't doing, because I wasn't overly sure that this was how best to do this, was to discard some of your early bullshit cards that do no damage and are just there for purchasing power. Get rid of them, because when I draw my 5 for my overall discard pile, I want them to potentially be the best possible. And a couple of times I did have 5 incredible cards, and I didn't know how to understand how they all work together. So I just sit there in front of you guys and go, right, these are my 5.
Tell me what's happening.
Tell me what you got.
Right, here's what I got. I'm doing damage right now. Okay. Well, you got 2 greens, and this one interacts with itself, and this one interacts with its buddy there. Oh, and because of this, there's this. You're doing about 24 damage to these bad boys. I'm like, that sounds good. We'll do that. And towards the end, I was, and I guess this goes with all manner of sort of, I wouldn't say is it board gaming or tabletop or just local gaming with people in front of you, is that I'd finish my round and think, I want to make it to the next round, because I think I know I've just picked some things up, and if they come out, I can defend myself a few more rounds, and that sort of anticipation of, oh, please don't, no one be a massive dick.
Yeah. Or don't buy that card, because I really want that card because it suits what I'm the kind of deck that I'm building. It was I saw there was a lot of things that triggered off certain cards, and it was mentally quite difficult to keep track of some of them. It was like I'd build up the flow of my play in my head as the rounds were going round, and by the time it came back round to me, I was like, right, okay, what was I doing again? And I'd have to sit and work it out all over again, because you'd play a card that will allow another card to be pulled from the discard pile, but that's got an icon on that I can use to trigger something on the other card. But you've got to do them. You've got to kind of just remember in your mind how they all work together, because a lot of these cards have alternative powers, so you can do one thing or the other, and both of them might be really good. One of them you have to remember, one of them is going to form part of the chain of events that you're going to trigger. And Derek, you were doing some crazy combos with some of the stuff you had.
He's building up real estate.
But you were doing really well. And would it be fair to say, because you're familiar with the app and you've played enough of the game, almost from the get-go, when you'll see cards coming out into the trade rows, that you know that there is good synergy between some of the cards, and you're drawing on your experience, because to Matt's point about saying, well, I don't really know what I'm doing, I know that goes away, and you will become familiar with the cards, and it's almost like you pre-strategize in your head and say, right, well, if that card and that card comes out, I'm definitely going to get those because they work really well together.
Yeah. So, what Steve-O says earlier about there being no factions is true, but what you have in it is you have colour-based entities. So you have colourless entities, you have green entities, you have yellow entities, and you have purple entities. And there are cards in it that will trigger off of a purple entity or a purple building. So although there's not factions per se, there is a benefit in saying, right, I've picked up this purple building, this purple character, this purple item, and I'm going to stick with getting purples, because there's every chance something will come out that will trigger off purple, and if you're sticking with the purples, you're always, the Cthulhu realms, you're always churning your cards.
Yeah.
You don't draw new cards, so you start with 10, and by the end, there's every possibility you've still got that 10, but you've added 6 or 7 to it, and you're just churning through those. So if you're always adding just the one colour to it, and you have a trigger activity, you've more likelihood of picking up those triggers and hitting those triggers. So yeah, there was a bit of pre-planning.
Yeah.
I would say myself.
Well, with the app then, is there a good tutorial in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. So I was actually going to say, if you are still interested in it, I would recommend picking up the app and have a quick blast with that, because it gives you a good overview of the rules, and it also shows you the rules themselves. So if you play a card, it will, by the way, do you know you can do this with it? And it will give you an idea of what each of the cards do and what each of the triggers do. So you've got a better idea. So if you then get to the point where you have to remember the rules, you're already got that in your mindset and say, right, so if I discard a card here, I can add that and I can do this, and then that activates this card and that activates that card, and you start to see the patterns. And that's it. It's recognising the patterns in the 5 you've got in your hand. Best to play.
And on the app, can you play AI and randoms and all friends?
Yes.
2 and 4 players?
No, it's just
No, I
2
believe it's
players.
just 2 players. So the 4 player for me, that was the first time I've ever played.
The same
player.
here. It's exactly like the Star Realms app in that it's got its own little AI campaign. But but then you can challenge other people online. You've got 24, 48 hours to make your turn, and it runs exactly the same as.
And can you have multiple games going?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to get back in on that shit.
So, I mean, are you a fan of the Cthulhu?
I'm really starting to get into Cthulhu.
Because I don't know what it is. Right? I have zero concept, and the art I get, the art was nice. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting it. Nothing was necessarily sort of jumping out to me, going, "Oh yeah, I love this world. This world is like that." That's enough to sort of push me through.
It was using a lot of characters that you see in things like Arkham Horror, the card game. If you look through the books, Eldritch Horror, Mansions of Madness as well. Some of the monsters.
I mean, from a thematic perspective, it's the lightest or the lightest and easiest kind of Lovecraftian theme approach that I've ever seen. I mean, you know from Arkham Horror, everything's very dark, and it's sinister, and that's true Lovecraft. You're looking at a card and you're struck with fear as soon as you look at it. Think, that no good's going to come of this card, whatever happens with it. But it's a good little game, and I would imagine. Do you know how much that's going for at the moment?
I think it's sub £20.
Yeah,
I think I picked it up for about £15.
Yeah.
Only place I've ever seen it is Amazon. There are other sites, possibly, but I've never seen it in the local game store I go to. So
it was certainly compact. I mean, it's just cards, no dice, no figurines,
just cards. So, from my perspective, for somebody who's familiar with deck building, if you want something different and you are interested in the Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos, this is pretty much a no-brainer. If you're new to the deck building genre, I would say look elsewhere first.
I think Star Realms is a better beginning point.
Agreed.
But yes, I do enjoy it.
But the one thing going in its favour is out of the box it supports up to 4 players, whereas with Star Realms you need a couple of decks to do 4 players.
There's no expansions either, so it is that is it.
That's it.
Once you've got it, that's it. You don't need anything else apart from sleeves. Must sleeve that. Need some good sleeves. Nice artwork on the back. Has to be clears.
No, don't forget, Steve, you need to sort me out with some sleeves.
Oh yes, there's some sleeves behind you. I've got them behind you. Don't worry.
Yeah, so you bought a game today, didn't you, Matt?
Totally, man. Went to a board game shop.
Yep.
There was very expensive games. 100 quid for Dark Souls.
Yes.
Knock yourself out. That's
Standard.
huge.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to pick something up just for shits and giggles because we were there together. And because I did want to, there are a few things that you talked about and a few things that you showed me that I would like to get into. So I've got Patchwork at home. I'm very keen that I want to get into something I can play on my own. And hopefully maybe the good lady can see me play it and maybe want to get involved. Or, balls to, I'll go and find someone else to go and play it with. And I picked up, what did I get?
One Deck Dungeon.
One Deck Dungeon.
I got One Deck Dungeon, which you spoke about. I've seen a video about.
Yeah.
Again, I can play it on my own, or I can get a buddy involved.
Yeah.
And I think although it's the expansion pack, it's probably the second.
It is a standalone.
It's still standalone as is, and I know that if I really get into it, I can pick up the edition that you already have yourself, which means it just expands it out more, so or allows me to play up to 4-player co-op as well.
Yeah.
So I'm genuinely looking forward to that, and I will sleeve.
Oh yes, you will, because you bought some today.
Yeah, I did.
And did you know that the app version of that game is in early access on Steam right now?
I did not know.
You did say, because you mentioned that on the previous podcast.
Yeah. So it's all good. I'm really keen to find out how you get along with that. So I look forward to talking about it on the next show.
To be honest, it might be the sort of thing I might take in to work with me because there's a little snooker table in the break room and table football and. Yeah. My new best friend at work plays Destiny at lunchtime by hooking into his PlayStation at home and doing it on his work PC. So yeah, that might be something I could just sort of. I mean, again, it's the one. I was obviously limited because I've been flying as part of my commute this weekend, so I was very aware that I couldn't take anything massive back with me.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's going to sit in my man bag all the time, if I'm on my own. I mean, Christ, I've got a bus journey and a plane thing. I could just sit there and just have a look through it.
Yeah. And I think if you manage your real estate correctly, I mean, I know I've drawn comparisons to how much table space these games take up. I think One Deck Dungeon, if you work really hard, you could fit that on a plane table tray. Not that I recommend your first experience with One Deck Dungeon be on your flight back down to England, but no, good. No, I'm really chuffed that you picked that up.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm part of the zeitgeist.
You are. You're one of us now, mate. You're one of us.
Yes.
So there's one other game that we got to play, and we dug this out last night after we came back from our boozy curry whatever session, and that's a game called No Thanks. Now, No Thanks is one of my favourite games to play with a group of people. I always enjoy it. There's always fun and hilarity, and it's one of the simplest games to teach. And I'm not going to see anybody disagree with that. And it's very, very simple. Basically, you've got a deck of cards running from 2 to 35. You'll shuffle that deck, because they run in sequence. You'll shuffle the deck, you'll remove 9 cards from that deck, and then you'll plonk the deck in the middle of the table and you'll turn the top card over. Every single player has 11 tokens that's like a currency. And it starts with the first player, and that first player has a choice. And it's the same choice that everybody has when it comes to their turn. You either take the card into your tableau, or you put a token on it and say no thanks. Because the object of the game is to score as few points as possible, and the points are calculated through counting the card numbers, adding them all together. Now the thing is, if you've got a 10, a 20 and a 30, that is worth 60 points. 10 plus 20 plus 30. If you've got 10, 11, 12, they're just worth 10 points, because when you've got a sequence of cards, it only counts the lowest number. So there's a bit of strategy there straight away. And also you've got to try and remember who's got what amount of tokens, and you can F people over so well. And as the round's going round and people are putting the tokens down, at some point you might make a decision and say, well, do you know what, that 18, I know that's adding 18 onto my score, but there's a load of tokens on there, and that might come in handy later when the 34 comes out. And I know Derek's been chickening, and I know he hasn't got many left, so we could fuck Derek up right good and proper.
And you did.
So we did like an introductory. Let's just play it and see what it's like, and then we did 3 rounds. I mean, I'll open it to the table. What did you guys think of it?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, the first introductory round, I didn't really have a clue. I was just, I'll just take it. Well, when we started doing it for proper, for those 3 rounds, it's just sitting there, you got your hand under the table with all your tokens in, you're just looking at everyone's decks, you going, do I want that card? Do I want it?
Yeah, because you're keeping the amount of tokens you've got secret, because you don't want the other people to know.
Do I want to spunk another token on that and risk someone else getting all of them? It's just, it was like reverse poker, it felt like. So yeah, I may be picking that up, to be honest. It was a nice little size as well that would fit in a pocket.
Yeah. I mean, the minimum player count is 3, but you can go up to 5 or 6. I understand.
But that would be good.
Yeah.
That would be good with 5 or 6 people. It was good with us, just the 4 of us. But there's 6 of you. A little bit tipsy.
It's interesting.
It's a great drink. It's a great game that you could play that. You could bust that in a pub easy.
Absolutely, and it's nice to see how many different ways you can say no thanks just to keep it fresh.
No,
Maybe not.
9. 9. What about you, Derek? What do you think?
I think the first couple of rounds it seemed so simple, and then you started to catch little nuances of strategy that you could put into it. Like, right, I know Darren definitely doesn't want this card, and I know the 2 of these guys won't want it either, but it'll hurt Darren more if he leaves it on him. And I know he's got very few tokens left, so I can get us to go around another round and maybe one more round to see if he's got another token.
It's the luck
and it's the pulling the tokens back as well, because you don't want to just say, right, I'll just take it. Say if I've got a 33 and it's a 34, I don't want to just take it straight off the bat.
Even though it's not going to be detrimental.
It's going to have no damage to me at all, because it's still going to be just 33. So I can spin that round the table as many times as I like, but you have to watch you don't overspin it. And someone goes, well, I'm now out of tokens, I have to take it. You want to push it as far as you can, and it's all that time watching people's faces to see the reaction as they're putting that token down. Is that the face of desperation as that final token goes out? So yeah, it's really interesting towards the last. I mean, Christ, I came dead last. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
It was the look on other people's faces when they're trying. You could see they're trying to build the stack of tokens up.
Yeah.
And just before it gets to them, it's just like, no, I'll have that. I'll just take them on. It's just like, you bastard! Yeah. I wanted them tokens.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that one. I think that was a great game to bust out at that time of night. It was a bit late, and we were flagging. We were full of curry and booze. And it was perfect. And there'll be times where the card we pulled is straight away. We go, oh, well, Matt's all right. Then I go, because that's something detrimental, so I may as well take it. But again, I don't want to just take it straight away. I want to get something for it.
You have an opportunity to extort some tokens out of the other players who desperately do not want that card.
No. And there have been times where I know that it's going round to Steve-O next, and obviously it's not going to be detrimental to him, but I'm running low on tokens. I don't have to take it, but you know what? I will take it. Just so he hasn't got it for free and a bunch of tokens as well. Yeah. Which may not be the best tactic in the world, but it's just me being a little bit personal about it there.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I felt that was definitely a game I wanted to bring up. A, because it's so easy to teach, and B, because it's so much bloody good fun. And I'm not too sure whether it's widely available at the moment. I have a strong suspicion it may be out of print currently. But if you can source a copy, you can get one for about £15 or £16. Or if you go onto Board Game Geek and you're a little creative, I believe that there are some print and play versions available. And this really is an easy one to print and play, because you're just going to be cutting out 35, 34 cards, and just whatever you do, just go and buy some counters off eBay. So we've got it on. It's on Amazon at the moment. There is one on offer at $27.25. I wouldn't pay £27.25 for that game, as much as we talked about it and spouted and gushed over it.
That's a really good print and play game. You could just do it yourself and use any old thing for tokens.
What you could do is you could take any other game that has cards that count up to 100 and use those. Yeah. So there is a game called The Game. And if you know about the game, not the game, you lost the game because you're thinking about the game. I'm on about the game, the card game. They've got cards at number 100. And the game that we haven't got to play yet, but we'll probably play it tomorrow, is a game called The Mind, which again has cards that run from 1 to 100. The Mind is a brand new release, and that is a very special title, which I hope to talk about on the next show once we've played it. So I think, unless anybody else has got anything else to talk about analog-wise, that concludes the board game goodness.
Herein lies the lesson.
And that is what? What have you learnt, Matthew? Don't fear the cardboard.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing some sleeving. Steve-O's convinced it's the most relaxing thing ever.
It's so relaxing.
I told you nearly 2 years ago.
It's very therapeutic.
It's all about sleeving.
Yeah, but when Steve says it, he sounds therapeutic. You bark at me like an order. Sleeve your cards.
It makes your cards very tactile. It's a tactile experience. You're getting one with the cards, and you're getting close to them. You're learning. This is so.
I'm one with the
And
cards.
because it's a repetitive task as well, you just zone out and chill. It's good.
Excellent stuff. And then a couple of months down the line, we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat about coin capsules. Yeah. But until then, you just stick with your sleeving for the time being. So, gentlemen, I know that I'm very conscious of time. It's very late here, and we're not going to drag on for far too long. But we want to make sure you guys get your money's worth. So, Matthew did a shout out to the to social media earlier this afternoon. We selected Facebook as our weapon of choice this time around, and he asked people to throw in some questions. We're not going to read them all out because we're conscious of time, and people are looking very, very tired right now. Still full of meat.
Still full of meat. So much meat.
Feeling meat sweats. Yeah.
While Matt's sorting out the questions, Derek, I just remembered from earlier today. You were when we went to the distillery.
Yes.
We went on a distillery tour. You bought a bottle of scotch.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, and what's special about that bottle?
I got to label it myself.
Okay.
So I got to name the bottle of scotch. Matt spoke earlier about the taste test that we had. So there was 3 different single malts that have been supplied by companies around the country to the Clydeside distillery specifically for these taste tests. There's a Lowland, a Highland, and an Islay.
Yeah.
That are the 3 single malts. So we did all quite like the Highland.
Yes.
It was nice.
It was very nice, very smooth,
nice and light.
very sweet.
Not so much aftertaste.
I did.
Look at us talking like proper taste testers now because we had spent half an hour.
Are we going to do a tasting on them?
I don't know. Is this a live tasting on air?
I don't think we've got any
We
glasses.
could do it. I suppose. We are in my property, so we have here a Highland bottle, matured in an ex-bourbon cask for 10 years, and it's currently called Balakian WN.
And that's Celtic.
It's Gaelic.
Gaelic.
Gaelic. And the very rough translation is balls deep.
Oh, fantastic! Fantastic! That's brilliant. And it was cracking the seal on that. So we'll vamp for a moment while you need to sort out glasses and stuff, because as we've learned today, you don't just take a swig out of a bottle like they do on the movies. Yeah, that those Western guys, they've got no idea how to drink whiskey. We're going to do it properly. But Matthew, you've got
Smell through your mouth, did you?
Don't need to with that.
have you got some questions to set us away while Derek's sorting some glasses out?
So it's rock and roll. Adrian Theobald asked a question we've already answered, really, which is SNES or Mega Drive, and we know it's
SNES.
It's 3-1. No, it's Mega Drive. Fuck that SNES.
Three of you can be wrong. It's not a problem.
Not believing it.
You can't get Streets of Rage on the SNES, so it's Mega Drive.
Fine, mate. Do you want me to list all the games you can't get on
I
the
don't
Mega
care.
Drive?
It's not Streets of Rage.
Isle of Wings, Super Tennis, Super Mario. Okay, we're grown up. We're better than this. We love each other. Okay, you've just made a bad error of judgment early on in your life, and I'm not holding it against you. Matthew, next question.
This question comes in from Mark. I'm going to suggest Kearney. He says, "You're in my area. Awesome. have fun. Avoid deep fried snacks too late. Not a question, but tell us what you think of Glasgow. I think we've already said Glasgow is a fantastic place.
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful, beautiful city.
Absolutely coming back. Dave Packer, we saw this when we were walking across to the exhibition centre. Had there been any Scottish video game protagonists? And so far, a lot of people. Someone suggested that Qbert was Scottish, but there's no evidence to back that up.
Qbert.
Yeah.
It's clearly swearing because in his name because of the little asterisks.
Okay.
And he's got the nose for drugs as well, I suppose.
I think we had this conversation.
Stereotyping good and proper, aren't we? We need to address that at some point.
When we walked around, we had this conversation. We did have a lot of discussions around it.
Someone stole my answer. I saw
And someone stole my answer as well.
I said Soap McTavish. Someone stole it, whoever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get an awful lot of supporting characters. Anything that's got a dwarf in, invariably the dwarf will have a Scottish accent, I've found.
Yes.
Oh, I just thought that those goblins in Fable 2,
Yeah.
they were Scottish.
Yeah. I tell you what, talking of Fable, the gargoyles.
That's what I'm on about, the gargoyles.
Yeah. They were Scottish. And they were like abusive Scottish.
Yeah.
In fact, was it not Billy Connolly that did the voice?
I don't know.
Oh, really? I don't know.
I don't think it was.
I've got a feeling I remember if that was the case.
Yeah. Okay. All right, next question.
But before we finish that, a lot of people are suggesting the head from God of War, who has a character name.
Well, the voice actor is Scottish.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say the character's Scottish. I'm not entirely sure. I think we discussed this. I think we said he was a satyr. But I don't know. So,
and we also had a Love Fist.
yes, I did say Love Fist.
Oh, Love Fist, fantastic.
John Strangroom, cheesy balls or bacon fries?
Cheesy moments.
That
Is that the same thing?
No, that wasn't an option. It's totally different.
Oh, bacon fries then. Fuck those cheesy
Always
balls.
bacon fries.
Yeah, I'll have to say bacon fries as well.
Posh frazzles, mate.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be the snares of the group and I'll say cheesy balls. Because apparently 3 of you can be wrong.
Oh, right, okay. I was going to. I'm waiting for the tirade of abuse because I went for a burger naked at some point. Carry on.
Let's see. Cassandra, she comes up with when you guys come into Minnesota, we can record with them too and go to Fantasy Flight Game Centre.
Okay.
Well, you have to come over here and win an auction.
Yeah.
To come.
Yeah.
That's how
and
it
then we
works.
have to save our pennies for flights. I could just sell a couple of get a couple of games, couldn't I?
I was going to say kidneys.
Yeah, I'll sell a kidney to get over there.
Young Richforder, so should Louisville be hung next to or away from the wall? We've had discussions a number of times.
This is old.
I always have it against the wall, and apparently I'm wrong. And
You are wrong.
You are wrong.
Yeah.
Three against one.
Yeah, three people can be right.
It should always roll towards you.
Alright. Bob Saxon.
It's not convinced.
What happened with the attendance at the Berry Arcade Club?
Oh yeah, we had a meetup, or a community organised meetup. Sadly, I wasn't able to attend, but by all accounts, that went very well. So there's an arcade club in Bury, where I think you just pay on the door and you go in there. Huge arcade, everything's on free play, and a lot of people took their kids. And for many of those kids, it would have been the first time that they'll have seen the games that we played when we were kids. I'm always curious as to what their take is. I mean, we were in a bar today when we were in Super Barrio or Barrio. Yeah. Lovely little place. Nothing amazing or special. Like they've just taken this, I don't know, 40, 50 square feet of retail space and said, right, we're going to stick a bar there and we can fit 8 or 9 arcade cabinets. Go knock yourselves out. And they got like Metal Slug, House of the Dead, Pac-Man, Street Fighter versus Marvel, Capcom. I don't know all that shizzle.
Was it?
Moonwalker.
That was a strange choice.
That was a very unusual
Very
choice.
strange choice.
Believe it or not, that one was on free to play.
Yes. Not many people playing it either.
No. Final question on here from Andrew Elwood, which is what's going on with Fortnite and the media? There was some news article about Stacey sodding Solomon being addicted to it yesterday. Do they just have a fantastic PR team?
I didn't. I said today, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
and you had to show me a photo of it. Oh, it's that one with the horse's face.
We tried describing her through. What would the word be if you're mimicking her voice?
Mimicking,
Yeah.
Which we thought would have been enough.
So what's your Stacey Solomon impression sound like?
I've got no idea.
It was very squeaky. I
yeah.
do remember it was very squeaky.
We're just sitting here swilling scotch around in glasses like a bunch of bloody toffs.
But anyway, no. But Fortnite is the new hot jam when it comes to my kids who are addicted to video games.
It's the new scapegoat. It's the new excuse parents can give for being bad parents.
Yes. I don't think it's got a great PR team. I don't think it's marketing at all. I think it's just the mainstream media doing exactly what it does when it doesn't understand something.
Yeah.
Like GTA before it, like Mortal Kombat before that, it takes the wrong approach and inevitably makes more people aware of it.
Yeah.
And makes more people buy it. So, thank you, mainstream media. You're usually shite. But
it's the old saying, no publicity.
It's bad publicity.
Oh, bad, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway.
Exactly.
Gents, I'll propose a toast. We'll.
Do you remember?
It's Slangio, wasn't it?
So up your bum.
Salut.
Up your pipes.
Yes. Slangeva.
Okay.
That's the third.
Oh, let's not drag this on. It's
I
terrible
think
radio. This is
good health.
Slangeva's good health.
Good
and
health. Better health.
Slangio.
Okay.
Better health.
Cheers, gents.
Down the hatch.
Oh, down that.
You remembered nothing from your tutelage earlier.
Oh, that's good.
It was very nice. The Balls Deep single malt 10 years.
Yes.
Can recommend. We'll buy again.
We'll buy again. Right, let's start bringing the show to a close, shall we, gentlemen?
yes.
It's getting very late. Firstly, iTunes reviews. Don't forget, people, iTunes is still a thing, and this is still a podcast. You can still go and leave a review, just like our good friend Kay Chester Marsden did. Bless him, he said some beautiful words. Listening for 3 years. He was only 24. He's not even midlife yet.
Well, none of us know when we're going to go, so it's never too early and it's never too late.
So that said, we have domestics. You can always go to the Midlife Gamer podcast, which is midlifegamer.net. You can punch out to all things social media. You can go to the Facebook group, go search for Midlife Gamer. There's about 2.3 thousand people in there. For the most part, they're all fantastic. Other times, we have to have annoyingly long conversations about how to deal with shit. Essentially, stop being a bunch of dickheads, which is actually a nice thing to say because you're all mostly really good.
Apart from the dickheads.
If you want to be less of a dickhead, you can go over to Twitter and just be a massive swine all your life. And you can follow the official feed, which is midlifegamer.net. No, it's not. That's a website. It's at midlifegamer.net. You can follow Darren, who's at uncle_Vista. Myself, who's at Mantis Matt.
Yes.
Steve, who is at Steve.
I think it's Steve OA76 with some dashes in there somewhere.
That's the
No,
one.
that's my PSN. It's Steve OA76.
Steve OA76, and you follow Digi, who's at
A digital pariah.
At Digital Pariah.
A digital pariah.
Digital pariah.
Okay. Are you one of many?
Yes.
Yeah.
Funnily enough,
Are you
some
Legion?
Some American bugger has stolen Digital Pariah and he's sat on it for the last 4 years doing nothing with it. So yeah,
Shit,
we are one of many.
Shit, mate.
Anything you guys, any domestics you just add to your worlds?
Other than if anyone wants to join us on Battlefield on a Friday night, community night, please just join in.
Yeah.
You know,
The community nights are starting back up.
You don't have to be any good at the game. We could do with bullet sponges to allow us to capture objectives. So yeah, it's good. Friday nights, 9 o'clock onwards.
Yeah, superb. Get involved. Get
Yes.
involved. Pick that up. You can pick that up for cheaps now, I'm sure.
Oh yes.
More likely. Do allow 24 to 48 hours to download. We mentioned earlier the YouTube channel. You may very well be listening to this on the YouTube channel already, in which case, well done.
Yes. Welcome to the YouTubes.
Yes, that's the internet with video.
It is.
I'm going to start putting things on there,
Yeah.
including the eating of deep fried chocolate. And I do have some other stuff. I've got some old video stuff that we did many moons ago for the companion app that we didn't sanction but was launched because reasons.
Yes. So a bit of legacy content could go up.
Legacy content can go up there for shit and the giggles. And I think that's about all you need to know from a domestic point of view. I think we mentioned earlier that we've been a little bit, we've been less frequent than we would like to be, and we're pushing the 10-year anniversary, and we'd like to. Well, I'd say we'd like to. Thank you once again, people, for being around as you do, and not pulling the plug, because without you guys, it would just be me and Darren talking to each other again.
Just like it was on the first episode. Some things change, some things stay the same. But gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a fantastic weekend. From a personal perspective, it's been an absolute tonic. This is something that I very, very much needed. And I'm so pleased, and I know Matt's going home tomorrow, but I'm pleased that I'm going to have an opportunity to spend some more time with you tomorrow, and then my journey continues on Monday, and there's more love to be had. So I'm very much looking forward to that. 2 for 2 on successful and most enjoyable home invasions. We could do this more often, but I feel really lucky that it was you guys. Because we know you, we've known you for many years. I could consider you both, good friends. I think you've both had an opportunity to get inside our heads a little more with the time that we've spent together, and I like to think that we've behaved ourselves relatively well and conducted ourselves.
I do hope your good lady wife
to a high standard
doesn't think that we're terrible human beings that have just defiled both her house and husband
and her toilet.
Well.
It's coming. I feel like I'm breaching, or I'm crowning. I'm crowning. My food baby's coming. Who shall I call? What shall I call it?
Squidward.
Call it Bob. Or Shitty McShitface.
Right. That therein lies.
Because he was born in Scotland. And I think on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring the show to a close. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this very, very special episode as much as the four of us have enjoyed putting it together for you. Go have a fantastic time. Be wonderful to each other. Go balls deep wherever you can. And, just be wonderful to each other. And leaves nothing more for me to say other than have yourselves a great gaming couple of weeks or months. And join us next time when we'll bring you another exciting episode of the Midlife Gamer Podcast. Say goodbye, Matthew, Derek and Steve.
Bye.
I think we should probably address the Scottish situation and try and dispel some common misconceptions and myths. So I'm looking at you, Derek, being the native.
Or reaffirm them.
Yes, or reaffirm them. Yes, just so we can clarify, especially for us non-Scots who kind of just we look at your part of the world from the outside in, and we there are paradigms I think that need to be shifted and say no, well actually that's not the case. So I've got a couple of. I'm going to start with a couple of questions.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a drink problem in Scotland? As far as I'm concerned, there isn't, because I've had no problem getting drink.
No, alcohol's free flowing.
Okay.
Yes, there is a drink problem, as people tend to do more of it than they should.
Okay.
So binge drinking is a big thing in Scotland. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Is that because like every Scotsman wakes up and thinks this is my last day on earth? I need to drink all the alcohol.
I think it's more just to fight off the cold than anything else.
Okay.
It is bloody cold here, and that was a preconception I had. Everybody else had a lovely, glorious bank holiday bunch of weather where I come from, and I'm up here with grey.
That's tops off weather up here.
It's tops off weather.
That's tops off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Short.
You'll have seen the ladies over the weekend. It's
Oh, no,
got a sign of sunshine. The wide belts on. You can see what they've had for breakfast. It's awesome.
I've seen a lot of back fat.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like a bit of back fat though, don't you? As you eye me up as I was getting ready to get into bed last night.
More cushion for the cushion.
So, heroin.
Yeah.
Do Scottish people sprinkle it on their cornflakes.
This is actually something that Steve can feel because it's more of an Edinburgh thing than it is a
Really?
Glasgow thing.
Yeah.
Is this is this like East West Coast beef going on there?
Very much.
No. That whole train spotting thing was based in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
That was the story. But I saw more of that going on down at EGX in that underpass near the Ibis Budget than I have in Edinburgh. Although there is a problem, I've never seen it.
Yeah, that underpass by the Ibis is kind of like the epicentre of all things bad and evil in the
Schmeagol
world.
under there when we went through.
Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me. Is there a statue to Russ Abbott anywhere within Scotland?
No.
Does Russ Abbott have a lot to answer for?
Yes.
Well, was that a famous heroin junkie?
No, we're still on the Scottish tip. It's not all
famous
about
for
the heroin.
He's famous for the CU, Jimmy. So
Yeah. So famous Scottish sayings. How often, or if at all, are they actually stated? So, see you, Jimmy. Do you hear people saying that?
Never.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Jobby?
Oh, all the time.
All the time. Okay.
All the time.
Good.
That's a commonality.
Glad
That's a common one.
we've established that. What about Ockeye the New?
Very seldom. Very seldom you hear that. Separately, yes, you'll hear it all the time. Och, aye.
Yeah.
The new.
Okay.
You'll hear them separately, but you won't hear people say Och, aye, the new.
What about Hootsmon?
Nah.
Has there ever been a moose loose about this
That's
Hoots?
for Roundtree's adverts. No, that's not.
Oh, do you know what? There's some other Scottish sayings. Who's Ken? Oh, I knew this Glaswegian lad, and every sentence he'd finish with the word Ken.
Do you know what? We're always looking for him. We don't know who he is, but we're always looking for him. You can?
That's
You
what
Ken.
he did. That's what he
You
did.
Ken.
You Ken. Who's Ken?
We're always asking everyone if they are Ken.
So
We've never found them
so
yet.
Ken is the same as like you know.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
I
no.
understand.
Like there's American chicks who are all like.
Yeah.
Oh, those
Yeah,
American chicks,
yeah.
they're boiling my piss, I tell you. Do you think Begbie should have a statue erected for him?
Without a doubt,
Definitely.
yes. That guy is nice. What a character.
do
I've
you
known a
think-
few Begbies in my life.
I was going to say, do you think he embodies the best and the worst of a Scottish alpha male?
Yes. Without a doubt. Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind.
Just for the tash.
Yeah, that's true.
Epic tash.
Who'd fund that? Do you think? Who'd fund the statue?
I think we could go fund me that one. Yeah. Crowdfund it.
Yeah. I guess if we came up short on the funding, though, we could just knock up a wee Jimmy Cranky with half the amount. Obviously, once you stop running your country for a couple of more years, then we can sort it out.
Well, considering
Is it only me that sees the likeness between Nicola Sturgeon and wee Jimmy Cranky? Or is that-
no,
You're right.
no, there is, yeah, but it has become kind of a colloquialism for slagging her off for not being able to do her job when she does. So, it's kind of a bit of a
to be
shitty
fair,
thing,
and like all joking aside, and I don't want to get sort of heavily political or anything, but she always seems to she talks a good job.
Yeah.
Or jobby, whatever.
Yeah,
She talks a good jobby.
Yeah.
Dear me. So what would be your highlight of our visit so far?
Oh God, right. Probably Matt tasting Steve-O's foul. That was probably the highlight.
Tiniest amount.
It was the tiniest amount, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought you meant FOUL.
Yeah, I thought that was like Scottish for penis.
Well,
Well, I didn't see that, but
Joy chicken, suck my cock, it's foul.
I haven't watched it in 3 weeks. No, it's chicken fowl. That specific curry that wasn't on the menu, wasn't on the order,
That's
but he
tasty.
ordered it anyway.
I loved it.
Yeah, I could smell colours after tasting that. So yeah, it's that was pretty intense, I think. But seeing Matt's face when he tasted that, yeah, that was a highlight.
and that was very much mixed in with a very mild korma.
Oh yeah, that was the mildest of mildest curry.
Got it.
Yeah, with the korma. Yeah.
I went down a bit. Kate, how many people here have played Near Automata?
No, I've got it, but
We all know what it. Do we all appreciate that the concept of it is what is AI and machines that are bred for combat maybe could have more to them than that. I was watching some porn the other day.
Well, you know.
Yeah, and it was parody porn, and it was based on Nier Automata.
Interesting, because she is quite foxy.
Yes,
What's the cheesy name they had?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's normally like a play on words, isn't it? Like your Lara Croft one would be Womb Raider.
He's Spear Automator or something like that.
Oh my god!
See, he's good. He's good.
Poor.
Now, I'm not usually. The only reason I bring this up is because for two reasons. Firstly, it wasn't sexy. So there's three things. Firstly, it wasn't sexy or evocative in that way. It was, however, incredibly well done to the point where I swear the people who did it either completely stole assets and stuff, or that it was the people who worked on it, or they just had such an affinity for the aesthetic of that game that they thought we need to get it absolutely toned perfectly correctly. And secondly is the fact that I had to scrub through it because when it came, it was essentially tentacle. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculously over the top. But the pinnacle of it is that it was actually set as a prequel to the game, because at the point of it ending is the start of the game, and the concept was that machines, and it was 2B or
2B
was actually designed as a sex robot, but they accidentally found out that because of all of the horrible penetrative sex through monsters and tentacles, actually turned to her gave her so much that she became an incredible fighting machine, and they actually turned these machines from being sex objects into. And then the end of that is the starting shot from the actual video game. Blew my tiny mind.
Was this animated?
Yes.
Or was it?
This is high concept stuff here.
But using it honestly, and not just, but with all the little codecs popping up in the corners, using almost exactly the same. Even the fact that a slow pan.
Can you send me a link to this, please? I really need to watch this.
I think there's a couple of things that are sticking out for me here. So the first one I share.
Sorry, I'll put it away.
I share Steve's sentiment here. This demands further investigation. I'll be a little more subtle. This demands further investigation. My second question that's sprung up is: how did you arrive at this? Did you just Google Nier Automata porn?
No, I was just looking at what's new.
What's new in the porn space?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
My God.
You ever been to the site and go, isn't it?
What, the site?
Well, the site.
The site. Oh, is there one porn site that's universal? I don't know. I'm not into all the pornographics anymore. I've still got my Virtual Sex with Jenna Jameson DVD, which I imported from the States and came in a plain envelope. It was sleeved though.
Oh,
it was a sleeved disc.
Imagine what that would be like with your PSVR now.
That's a good point, you know. It's a good point. Is that region 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, this isn't about me and my
which site?
My ancient porn collection. The site. I think this needs to be shared offline, okay? Because George is listening.
Yes, but either way, it taught me that people are going to do the parody stuff. Firstly, incredibly well animated. Almost too much attention to detail from its source material, and going as far as to thinking out as outside the box as Nier Automata does as a game itself. It worked on so many levels and got me dead hard.
That was my question. Who actually finds this sexy, Matt?
Well, as I said, did you achieve? Did you achieve a climax?
No, I didn't.